What's up, boys and girls? It's that same bat... Well, it's not the same bat time, is it? Because usually we're on at midnight, so we're a little bit early. But hey, it's the same nonsense, isn't it? As I said the other day, nobody knows just what the heck is going on at DC, do they? Where are all those scoopers on this one? What do you say? The Batgirl movie is canceled? It's not coming out on any platforms anywhere? No HBO Max? No theaters? Not even in our backyard on a big inflatable screen? What will the dynamic duo do? Next, here, in the Poindexter Lounge. What's up, boys and girls? Welcome once again to the Poindexter Lounge. My name is Enosh, and it is great to have you with me in the lounge tonight. Did the sound for that just play? I don't know. It's weird. Like all of a sudden, I got these sound issues. I don't know what's going on. Is the sound playing? I don't hear any sound. That's weird. People in the back, can you hear me? Like, what the heck is going on right now? I don't even know what's going on. Gosh, I swear, man. I stream during the day, and so everything's playing for everybody else. It's just not me. Huh. Okay. Sure, why not? Those dastardly people at Warner Brothers. Hey, guys, welcome to the Poindexter Lounge. My name is Enosh, and you know what? They are not going to keep us from anything today, because today is an unprecedented moment. I mean, this is crazy, folks. Never before have we seen something this big happen. The Batgirl movie has been canceled. It's done. Finito. Now, before I bring in my panel, I do want to say I do feel bad for the people who worked on it. As human beings, I get that. But I'm happy. I'm actually happy that maybe for once Warner Brothers is taking a step forward in a positive direction and saying, you know what? No, this was not a good idea. This wasn't going to work out. It wasn't a good film. And we're not going to move forward with it. All right. But before we do that, I want to tell you a little bit about Bully Sticks Direct. Do you have dogs? I have dogs. You guys have seen my dogs all over the channel, right? I got Harley Quinn. I've got Wookie. And, of course, I have my precious new little guy, Marty McFly, who's Bark into the Future. But the thing is, you know what? If you want a healthy dog treat and something your dog is going to love, and my dogs have absolutely been enjoying and loving the fine quality products from Bully Sticks Direct. You can get some Bully Sticks at bullysticksdirect.com. But, hey, don't just take my word for it. Watch this.
Oh, nice. Oh.
Active dogs deserve a healthy treat. Bully Sticks Direct.
Yes, they do. Active dogs need a healthy treat. So go ahead and check out the good fine people over at bullysticksdirect.com. And if you use the code Poindexter, you get 10% off your order. All right, so go check them out. All right, so I'm going to bring people in so I can figure out what's going on with my drops and stuff that I don't hear anything, because I don't hear a darn thing when I was playing those videos. So there you go. First of all, ladies and gentlemen, in the lounge this afternoon, we've got some good friends here. We've got, of course, RJ. What's up, RJ?
Hello. I feel like I'm on crazy
I can't hear
pills.
RJ. There's something weird, funky going with the back. Hold on a second. Let me make sure my audio settings are all good. Look, yeah, they're... But that's not doing it. What the heck? Hold on a second. Let me make sure everything's plugged in. In here.
Hello? Hello? You're muted. I cannot hear you.
Okay, sorry. I was asking if you were there because that was weird, dude. Did you hear a woman singing?
No.
Like literally. Literally what the heck is going on right now? I am freaking out right now, dude. Like seriously. I couldn't hear you. But I heard a woman singing.
It's the ghost of the Batgirl movie.
That is straight. I guess so. That is weird. Like totally weird. There's nothing playing around here. I have no idea what's going on, but I do know this. I know that we have some guests here. And so we got Keaton here. What's up, Keaton? Keaton, you're muted. Okay, forget it.
He's not muted. He's just fucked.
Okay, Thade is here. What's up, Thade? Stella is here. DL is here.
Hello, everyone.
William is here.
What's going on?
Anthony is here. And getting in right under the radar, which is cool because we haven't seen this guy in a while. And you know what? I miss this guy, man. I used to do a show with this guy, for goodness sake. And then all of a sudden, like, he got too busy. You know, he said he was going to walk away, but no. He's too busy sometimes to be on. I'm just messing. But you know what? We do know this.
Padman can get all the tickles, all of them. I'm even wearing the same hat as that clip. So,
Oh my
What's
God,
up,
Dawson is
Dawson?
back!
Dawson
What's
is
up,
here!
Dawson? What's up?
what's up, everybody? It's good to see everybody. It's good to be back.
Dawson.
Point Extra Lounge. It's been a while.
Hey, Enosh, all I
Yes,
have
sir.
to say about what you heard earlier, that was
Yeah.
the ghosts in the machine, my friend. The ghosts in the machine.
I guess so, man. I have no idea what that was. Like all of a sudden, I couldn't hear the drops. I couldn't hear the promotion. I couldn't hear anything except for my own voice. And then I unplugged it and plugged it back in, and it's like my computer went, okay, there it is. And then I heard a woman singing. I'm like, there's no woman singing. What the heck is going on?
It's the Batgirl movie.
Like,
Hey,
this
you know,
is like
The
freaking
ghost
me
of
out.
Leslie Grace.
That is the sound of the paradigm shift changing.
Hey, can you hear me?
Sound of inevitability. It is the
Yeah,
sound
we
of
can,
your
yeah,
death,
we can hear you, William. We can hear you.
Mr. Anderson.
Okay, yeah, I'm actually on a black lot right now. I only got a couple of seconds, but because I didn't know you were going on today, because nobody knew this was going to happen. But
No.
first thing, if I can say something real quick before I die
Yeah, go
out
ahead.
here.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Do you, anybody who has anger or disappointment, please direct it at the right people. The previous regime is the people who you need to be angry about. Anybody who wanted to see these movies. This movie should have never been greenlit. It should have never happened. In a lot of these projects, no matter, even in some of the ones that have had decent outcome, whether it be Peacemaker, The Suicide Squad, we judge Peacemaker by the finished result that people enjoyed it. But when you look at strategically, none of these things made sense. And now you have an organized regime coming in and finally realizing that. And I've heard everybody say, well, you just can't shelve a movie. You just can't cut a movie. Yes, you can. If you're coming into a new direction and this stuff that was left over, the pile of crap that was left on your doorstep doesn't fit the direction. You're taking your $46 billion company that you just purchased and $46 billion of debt you just assumed. If that's not going in the direction, I don't care if it's in the can at the theater. If you want to cut it, you cut it. You go your own direction. You spent the money to do that. So Blue Beetle, all these things, even if they resurrect these projects, if they resurrect these projects, they need to be resurrected in their vision, not inherited stuff, not leftover stuff.
I kind of mentioned this in my space on Twitter. Not MySpace, that's long dead. That's I don't think Blue Beetle is next, or at least I sure hope not, because Blue Beetle, as far as I understand, is far and disconnected from anything regarding Batman, which is main thing in question with this whole Batgirl and the Flash stuff. And so I personally, honestly, Blue Beetle's the main DCEU film that I've actually had some interest in, besides maybe a little bit of Black Adam. And so I personally hope that doesn't get the axe. I couldn't think of the word, because I think it could be interesting. But again, I don't necessarily see that happening. But David Zaslav proved today that nothing's impossible to be blocked off by Warner Brothers.
I
Honestly.
Well,
think
the
this
reason
company
it's
has
called
to be brutal.
unprecedented, though, like I think it was Justin Kroll from Deadline talked to somebody who's worked 30 years in the industry at the executive level, saying this is something that is unprecedented in the last 30 years of Hollywood. This is not something that usually happens.
Right.
Reason being,
At
especially
least this late in production.
Well, this late in production, when it's a movie that's finished and was like about like 95% done, the reason being, especially, is because of something called contracts. Contracts, folks. That's why a movie like New Mutants got released, even though that should have never been released either. That had to get released because of contracts, right? So this is unprecedented on every level. I feel bad for the cast and crew, especially because I think you had some really talented people working on this.
The contracts don't mean anything, though. They mean something. It's assumed. People don't realize is when Warner Brothers Discovery purchased this company, they assumed all the liability and debt. So any contracts that would get lived out it's already a loss. That money's already gone. It's like you went last night and you ate at a great restaurant and you spent the money and you tipped the waiter. That money's gone. All right, and
like the Disney Fox merger that happened too, not the exact same thing, but another corporate merger. They were forced to release a couple movies in a certain way, like New Mutants, Dark Phoenix, a couple other Fox films, the way they had to, because again, contracts. I'm not saying contracts can be bought out. Maybe they bought the contracts for this, and that's why they were able to cancel it. I don't know.
No, the contracts are written differently for the Fox stuff. When you people write their contracts, residuals and things are based on certain things. So each movie is going to have a different contract. There's probably no residual to the point where, because you really hadn't even determined the format that this was going to be released on. So the contracts probably wouldn't have been dependent on a box office when nobody knew what format some of these things were going to get released onto in the first place. So that probably wasn't in a contract for them. So, but this should have happened. Be honest with you, we're on August 2nd, 2022. The moment that it was clear that Warner Brothers Discovery was going to take over, all of these projects should have been shelved no matter what state they were in. And I've been saying this till I lost my voice. And I didn't wish anybody to lose their job or anything like that. These guys got paid, but it was stupid for these projects to go forward.
I mean, especially the thing is that with these projects, we all kind of, or at least understand, or at least theorize that the previous regime put a lot of these projects into production because some of them were either bitter or they just wanted to get things greenlit as much as possible to kind of confuse things. This new regime comes in and they're like, well, crap, we just inherited all these projects. So it was already kind of a mess to begin with. And so David Zaslav made the difficult choice of hey, we're cutting this, we're getting rid of this. And again, I'll say this until my face turns blue. David Zaslav showed today that business-wise, he's not messing around.
Nothing is safe.
The standards are doesn't.
Nothing is safe.
Nothing is safe at this
point. That's the thing, right? We're in
we'll get to that. Yeah. Let's get to that for a second. I want to do two things. I want to bring in our next guest, and then I want to actually go to the article, because for those of you who haven't seen yet, big announcement just went down a little while ago. The Batgirl movie is done. It is not coming out. It's not going to be in theaters. It's not going to be on HBO Max. It has been completely shelved, and we'll go over the reasons in just a minute, and then we'll get some really good informed takes from everybody. But first of all, I do want to welcome in, and I give everybody else the music, so I'm going to give him the music too. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome one of the smoothest men on YouTube today. He's a pretty cool guy. I like him. It's been a while since he's been here. Ladies and gentlemen, Prime. What's going on, Prime the Godfather? Oh.
What's up, people? How you doing, Enosh? I appreciate
Good, man. Hey, man, I appreciate you, man. It's just like old times up in here, isn't it? It's like old times, man, up in here. Look at us all. By the way, 105 people watching right now. Make sure to hit that like button, all right? 111. We just bumped up 6. All right, awesome. Keep hitting that like button. Okay. That being said, I do want to go to the article because I want to make sure that everybody watch, because there's some people I even saw in the chat. They're like, what the heck is going on?
Yeah,
like, I didn't see
the
it.
story broke in the New York Post, and I was like, New York Post sucks. No one believes them. And then and then Umberto Gonzalez.
It's crazy they were right.
Umberto sucks. No one believes Umberto. And it's like, okay, now.
Well, it's like
Hollywood
when
Reporter.
people look. I tend to doubt a lot of reports too. But like, for me, if the New York Post is willing to put themselves out there and say, "Hey, this is happening. This movie for the studio is quote unquote irredeemable and is not being released," then if they're wrong about that,
that's
like,
a pretty big
lawsuits galore, right? Because that's both slander of a company's property and also just false reporting, right? I can't remember the exact term of that, but anyway.
But I gotta ask you guys a question. So I know the New York Post dropped it. Everybody seems to be going to the Variety article. What do you guys think has the best take on this, or should we kind of maybe
I think looking at multiple articles will help. I think the Hollywood Reporter had a good one too, because they mentioned another movie got canceled as well.
Okay, it was Scooby.
Yeah, the Scoop sequel.
Yeah, Scooby.
That's for kids though, so of course it will get canceled.
Okay, all right.
And why
is this one moving?
I say the Hollywood Reporter and the Variety article.
It popped up twice on my on here, so I just want to make sure this is moving. Okay, so for those of you who have not seen it yet, let's go over exactly what happened, and then we'll have a great discussion about it. Batgirl film axed by Warner Brothers won't be released on any platform. This is the Variety article. Batgirl, the feature film adaptation of the DC Comics character, has been killed at Warner Brothers. Variety has confirmed it will not premiere on any platform at the studio, neither theatrically nor on HBO Max. The $90 million production starring Leslie Grace as Barbara Gordon, a.k.a. Batgirl, and directed by Bad Boys for Life and Miss Marvel filmmakers Adil El Arbi and Bilal Falal was greenlit in 2021 as part of a company-wide effort at Warner Brothers to create feature films specifically for HBO Max. But the new corporate regime at Warner Brothers Discovery has pivoted the company's priorities back to theatrical features, leaving Batgirl without a proper home. Studio insiders insist the decision was not driven by the quality of the film or the commitment of the filmmakers, but the desire for the studio's slate of DC features to be at a blockbuster scale. Batgirl was budgeted to screen in homes on HBO Max and not for a major global release in theaters. The budget for the project, which finished principal photography earlier this year and was in post-production, reached $90 million, due in part to COVID-related delays and protocols. The decision still comes as a shock, as studios almost never shelve productions outright, preferring to get at least some return on their investment. It also comes as Warner Brothers is still contending with what to do about The Flash, a DC adaptation created and budgeted specifically for theatrical release in 2023. The film has been utterly hamstrung and repeated allegations of abuse and misconduct by its star, which, again, have still not stuck, but all right, Ezra Miller. And it's not like Batgirl was a small movie either. Along with Grace, J.K. Simmons plays Barbara's father, Commissioner James Gordon, and Michael Keaton reprises his role as Batman, as he also does in The Flash. Brendan Fraser plays the villain Firefly, and Grace told Variety in April that she had preliminary discussions with the directors about what a sequel could be. There's crazy stunts, crazy drops, Grace said of the film. She's a biker chick, so you're going to see her do a bunch of badassery. There were a lot of long days, but it was so worth it. The New York Post first reported on Warner Brothers' decision to not release Batgirl. So that's the Variety article. So before I pull up the New York Post one, I will just say this about this. I agree with Matt Jarbo in the chat there when he says it doesn't make any sense that they would just that it's being reported that it's like it wasn't good enough for theatrical.
Well, the word was that it didn't feel cinematic enough.
Yeah, okay. So like I don't understand why you can't. You got all kinds of TV shows. You got I mean, is it worse looking than Titans and
Well, the test screenings too. Apparently, like depending on who you talk to, either they were okay or they were really bad. There's they weren't overwhelmingly good, so they weren't like good enough to where they felt like this was a worthwhile movie to keep.
Well, also for an originally proposed HBO Max film, this did balloon in its budget up to $90 million due to a lot of lockdowns with COVID-19 and getting back into production, all of that. So I think that was another factor that David Zaslav looked at as like, hold on, we made this and it had this much budget and it ends up looking, because regardless of what people think, of course, depends most of the time, but there is a distinct difference between something that's made for streaming and made for theaters as far as like quality is concerned, the way there is a difference even to at least a small degree. And so again, with that balloon of a budget for an originally proposed smaller thing, it just seems like it was just kind of a business mess in general.
Yeah, and there's word too that like apparently like the movie felt very small in scale and kind of cheap. Like it didn't feel like a $90 to $100 million DC blockbuster film. It felt a little cheap.
So it looked cheaper than the Batman?
They're saying the look of the film was very cheap.
Didn't they say that
it felt very cheap? It felt very small in scale. It didn't feel like a big event movie.
Didn't they say that Michael Keaton costume looked like a Halloween costume?
No,
There was one
that
reporter that said
Batgirl's costume.
there was one
Batgirl's costume.
reporter. I can't remember. There was a tweet that was shared in my spaces earlier today where it was someone who had heard about the screening and people saying that Keaton's suit did look cheap. Which even from the set photos, like I could have told you that.
I thought I was literally just talking 2 days ago. 2 days ago, I was talking to my family and I said we were looking at that picture. That the main picture that came out of Michael Keaton in this movie, and I said that suit looks horrible. The whole chest piece thing, it looks like Darth Vader kind of deal, and I'm like, it looks plastic.
Because they were trying to pay homage to the original Batman films with Michael Keaton, and like that's fine. Like those suits were fine for their time, but he was wearing Nike black shoes for goodness sakes. Like
he was.
You have to update it and make it look more new. They rely too much on nostalgia with the suit design than actually making it look good or practical.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I agree with Cylon. Smash that like button like Zaslav smashed Batgirl.
Wow.
That just sounds wrong without context.
That sounds wrong.
Oh, that does kind of sound wrong, doesn't it? Okay. Sorry, I didn't even think of it that way, but yeah.
So since you brought up the suit situation, is he wearing the same suit in The Flash?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh no.
He's wearing like a new suit in the beginning, and then the suit he wears at the end that near the end is the same suit as the Batgirl suit.
I mean, obviously, I don't think that the whole cancellation of Batgirl had everything to do with Keaton's bat suit at all. But
they were all sitting there around the table and like,
that doesn't look good enough.
This movie is brilliant. This movie is great. I love everything about this. We're going to reintroduce Batgirl to the... What the hell is that suit that he's wearing?
It's like
cancel it! Cancel it! Cancel everything! Cancel my lunch! Cancel the drinks!
I'm glad we're bringing up Michael Keaton though, because that's another big question. That's now 2 Michael Keaton projects that are done. He's not in Aquaman 2. Now he's not. The Batgirl's not happening at all.
They got the 1-2 punch.
That's what I was thinking. Was like as soon as this was announced, we had old news of Ben Affleck being in Aquaman 2, as far as Jason Momoa's posts are concerned, or that they hint, and so it makes you wonder. Because at first we're all like, oh, well, it makes sense. Aquaman's coming out before The Flash, so the whole Ben Affleck thing hadn't been changed yet in The Flash. But now it's like with Batgirl being canceled, I go back to this. Whenever Michael Keaton was asked about returning to Batman for The Flash, it always seemed like he was like, oh, I just kind of wanted to come back to the character, see how if I could do it again. It didn't seem like he was in it for the long haul. It seemed like it was more just a revisitation to something he loved before. Not necessarily something that he was in it for the long haul. And so the fact that this is happening, it makes sense. I'm starting to think that Michael Keaton didn't quite realize exactly what they wanted from him as far as a long-term Batman. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't.
Well, he signed a contract. It was a long-term contract. I mean,
right.
But
then maybe after a while, he's just like, you know what? Maybe I don't want to do this. I'm in my 70s. I don't know if I want to sign off.
Well, I got a theory about that I'll bring up after we read the post. So let's read the post and let's see what the post had to say about it. Because their headline is Irredeemable Batgirl movie gets shelved by Warner Brothers.
That's what shocked me, is that description.
Irredeemable.
Wow. I mean,
that's why I said this report was better. That's why I said this.
Well, I'm hearing that the test screenings didn't go very well for Batgirl anyway. So
right,
yeah. So let me blow this up a little bit. Okay, so holy millions down the drain, Batman. The DC. Well, I don't know how. I never know how to feel about it when somebody starts off with like a. I don't know whether to like take it as funny or like think that maybe somebody is that out of touch with these characters when they use a reference that old, but okay. But it's funny. Anyways, the DC Comics film Batgirl will be completely shelved by Warner Brothers, a top Hollywood source told the Post. That means it won't hit theaters or the streaming service HBO Max. Fans will not see it. One day, maybe, you guys think?
No.
Well, if they release
it forever.
No.
I mean, it'd be like a Schumacher cut.
I mean,
get the hashtags ready.
Eventually, we all end up, like,
the
last film that I can think of that this happened to some degree was was it late 80s, early 90s Fantastic Four movie. Right?
Early
90s.
That eventually
and so, like, at least it's still available for people to see. Like, it's on YouTube.
It's on YouTube. I have a copy of it on VHS, man. I literally took it from VHS and put it onto DVD because I bought a copy.
Watch the Batgirl at some point, I'm pretty sure, somewhere down the line. Right, but you're already starting to see this whole petition. A lot of people are saying, "Oh, save Batgirl." That was a hashtag that started right away.
Not for this one.
I don't think they'll save it necessarily, but we'll see it in some form, I imagine.
I mean, probably
I doubt it.
If it was salvageable, they would have just said it would have been released to HBO Max. but they.
That's how I feel too. That's how I feel too.
Surprising thing because the movie was pretty much done. Like again,
Well,
that's
also on the last stage of post production. Like they were like almost done with their final cut.
Also, just let me point out, and this is something that occurred to me earlier and has happened with other projects that have been canceled or whatever. People worried about how much money this cost or whatever. Remember, that money can always be used as a tax write-off.
Oh no, I get that too. I mean, I'm more so focused on like just the human aspect of this, where it's like people poured a lot of time and effort into this.
Well, also
Obviously,
remember
they were
like,
paid. They were paid. I know they got paid.
They got paid.
Like, it still sucks. Like,
well, yeah.
Like, especially for Leslie Grace, I feel really bad for her
because this was going to be her
big break, and like she was really excited to join DC, and now it's like, nope.
Well, I'll just say this, Matt, calm down, buddy. We haven't even got like we're in one part of the conversation, dude. Like you're assuming a lot about like what we're gonna say about this and what we're not gonna say. Nobody we haven't even got into that part. We haven't even read both articles yet, man. You're a little ahead of.
Also, I know the angle he's going for. It's a completely different situation. There's similarities, but very, very different. It's not like a director came in and took this background movie, completely reshot it and bastardized it, and then put it out saying that it was the other directers. That's a completely different situation.
Yeah, it's a movie that went away. Okay, so let's finish this. The reportedly $70 million movie, the source said the budget was actually more than $100 million, which was doing test screenings for audiences in anticipation of a late 2022 debut, would rank among the most expensive cinematic cast-offs ever. Those tests were said to be so poorly received. Now, this is something that Variety didn't report at all. Variety is like, well, it's not because of the quality, whatever. This is getting into the meat of it. It says those tests were said to be so poorly received by moviegoers that the studio decided to cut its losses and run for the sake of the brand's future. It's a DC disaster. They think an unspeakable Batgirl is going to be irredeemable, the source said.
See, this is what shocks me, because I remember there was reports a while back saying people were confused in test screens because of Michael Keaton and J.K. Simmons working together, but like nothing in that indicated that it was worse than that. Right, I just figured, people will be confused, but when the Flash comes out,
right, and that's supposedly why they changed Aquaman 2's post-credit scene, because the audience was like, "Why the hell is Michael Keaton in here? This makes no sense."
Right. I'm sorry. What did you say, Prime?
No, go ahead. Just finish the article.
The Post has reached out to Warner Brothers for comment. It's been a months-long walk of shame for the movie Batgirl. I'm not going to try to say those names because I'm going to keep messing them up.
Just say Adil and Balil.
Adil and Balil. All right. Received not a single mention at DC's Comic-Con panel in San Diego in July. An unusual move that raised industry eyebrows. The much publicized event, after all, is designed to boost exposure for forthcoming projects just like this one. Marvel's Comic-Con presentation on the flip side, of course, it always has to be Marvel versus DC. I don't think so, but whatever. Announced more than a dozen films, but I did say, Marvel, literally after what Warner Brothers did, and what DC brought to Comic-Con, which was nothing. I mean, they missed every opportunity.
Then they went above and beyond.
DC put out 2 trailers for movies that people are. It didn't inspire anybody.
And Dwayne Johnson stood like this.
Yep, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. And listen, they missed the opportunity to even tease a Shazam versus Black Adam later down the line. Like even if you're not going to just say it, wouldn't it have been cool just to have them like bump into each other on stage and just kind of be like, just look at each other, right? That would have been a moment, right? Yeah. It would have been a freaking moment. I liked what Dawson said in his MySpace on Twitter, which was somebody like put out there, and obviously there was the Henry Cavill thing, but it's not even about the Henry Cavill thing for me. Like if that would have happened, it'd been awesome. But it's telling the fact that just the idea that Henry Cavill could have showed up, was bigger than the 2 big movies that DC brought to that thing. And the disappointment from a lot of people was based on the fact that that Henry Cavill wasn't there. But I liked the idea that Henry Cavill shows up as a reporter as Clark Kent and starts asking questions in the audience. That would have been awesome. But
they could have even changed it up with Zachary Levi showing up in his Shazam suit and being like, "Hey, so I hear this guy," then Black Adam, like, or something like that, and then they have a stare down. They could
have
have
some fun with it, man. Look what Marvel did a thing like that where they brought people out in costume and they talked like they were in character and stuff. And like, why can't you make it fun? Like they just tried to make it super serious, and they're dumb because they had Super Pets coming out, which people who actually
mention it.
One thing in there, yeah.
People who are actually are going, it's a flop, it's a flop, it's a flop. Listen. Everybody that I know who's actually seen Super Pets, and I plan on seeing Super Pets still, everybody who's actually seen it has told me that they enjoyed it, that they liked it. My family liked it.
Marketing was horrible.
Marketing was horrible, and they
Marketing
didn't even
was
mention
atrocious.
Not even a mention of the fact that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is your star in that film.
Keanu Reeves was
And Kevin Hart. You got to remember, it's Kevin Hart and Dwayne Johnson.
I mean, you guys saw the promotional posters for Super Pets, right? Those Super Pets promotional posters?
Yeah.
So, like, where it's like Batman, it's just these weird slogans. Let me find them for you.
Okay, we're gonna get to these super chats here in just a second too. By the way, what would you say, DL?
Were you guys aware that Kate McKinnon was in this movie and she's the villain?
Nope.
They never say anything about it.
And people said that she stole the movie. I didn't even know she was in the film because she was barely in the market.
Okay, so
you be amazed, man.
But I mean, The Rock.
Let me share you guys these posters real quick because good criminy. So there these are. These are the promotional posters. You have The Bruce is Loose. Then you have Keep Up. What the Flash? That word makes sense. They call me Bark Kent. And
that's dumb.
I think the Cyborg one was He's Had Some Work Done.
What?
And the hair.
Paul Clark.
The hair.
Yeah,
the hair on Cyborg.
What is up with
look
this?
was just terrible.
It was these kinds of things, and also the advertising. I'm just like, you know what?
What does Superman say? What does Superman say?
But just the thing. Though, even though with all that, the movie was funny as hell.
I'm sure it was. I haven't seen it yet, but
I plan on seeing it. But yeah, so I would just like to say that, like, why don't you have then, just a mention of the fact that, hey, not only is he in Black Adam coming up, but this Friday we got a new movie coming out with Dwayne Johnson as well. Because remember, the hierarchy is changing, right? Dwayne Johnson's changing everything. BS, but all right.
And it's
Let's finish
this.
Real quick, can we all at least agree that this probably means that Walter Hamada's gone? Because I don't think
I would say. I was going to say something about all that, but I'll just wait till Enosh get done with the article.
Okay. Yeah. There's a lot to jump in on that.
But one thing about Super Pets though, I know they didn't have anything at San Diego Comic-Con, but I heard reports of Dwayne Johnson having some like weird whiskey tasting thing that was promoting Super Pets.
Oh no, he did so he went to, it was a theater in LA. They did an event for families, and what happened was that he came out in costume as Crypto, and then he gave a family a puppy. And then he also brought booze for the parents, saying, "Hey, try my tequila."
He took that puppy back.
Here's a kids movie promotion. Here's some whiskey. Here's some alcohol.
And a dog. And a dog.
For
the kids.
Sure.
No, he took that puppy. He took that puppy.
Sure. Okay. All right. Let's finish this, and then we'll do the super chats, and then, we'll go for it. So Marvel, I said all Marvel literally had to do was show up on the stage and breathe, but they announced more than a dozen films in the so-called phases 5 and 6 of the MCU to be released in the fall of 2025, with even more surely in the hopper, because they even talked after it. Batgirl, which stars Leslie Grace in The Heights in the title role, along J.K. Simmons. I mean, this has a great cast. Michael Keaton, Brendan Fraser. Was originally planned for an HBO Max release. The Puck newsletter reported in April that WB's then chair Toby Emmerich was considering a theatrical run for the film too. But Emmerich stepped down in June to form his own production company, not long after Warner Brothers merged with Discovery and David Zaslav became the CEO of the new entity. He replaced Emmerich with MGM's Michael DeLuca, who likely had to deliver the Bat News, and Pam Abdi. While the film's co-directors have done some scattered interviews about casting, the studio has been mum on plans for Batgirl ever since. Shelving a multi-million-dollar effort would not be unusual for Zaslav, a ruthless cost cutter. Remember, he's the same guy who gave the $300 million streaming service CNN Plus the axe just days after its splashy launch because it didn't snare enough subscribers. The budget-conscious CEO, according to Variety, has split WB into multiple segments, including a reorganized DC-based film production group, which, great idea. With that in mind...
DC head.
Yeah, DC needs to have its own studio. It's just that's what it needs to be. With that in mind, WB is said to be searching for a head honcho to run the flailing DC extended universe and whip it into coherent shape, like Kevin Feige did with the far more successful Marvel Cinematic Universe, which is owned by Disney. The current president of DC film production is Walter Hamada. Warner Brothers Discovery will report their Q2 earnings and announce future plans on Thursday, my 10th wedding anniversary.
So pause that real
Hey,
quick.
congrats.
So Thursday's their earnings call, right? Now there is a rumor, going around, and I need to specify this. This is just a rumor.
Okay.
There is a rumor that they are going to announce that HBO Max is being shuttered, the app and the whole service is being shuttered, and instead the main platform will be the Discovery Plus service, and that'll have an HBO Max thing. The other rumor is that they're going to get rid of all scripted content. They're going to go only unscripted for streaming.
That's not going to happen because they just put out all that money for House of the Dragon.
Yeah, that ain't gonna happen.
No,
House
hold
of
on,
Dragon,
hold on, let me finish.
Dude,
Let me finish.
they wouldn't do it.
No, let me finish that. Let me finish. HBO and all that content will just be on the HBO Premiere cable service. So House of the Dragon, all those shows would be on HBO on premium.
They wouldn't shutter the streaming service.
They're not. They're going to shutter HBO Max and just build it into Discovery Plus. So all that stuff would move over to Discovery. That's the rumor. I'm not saying that's true, but that's the rumor going around.
Well, let me just give you a little thing. I started when HBO came out with the HBO Now. That's how I was able to watch Game of Thrones way back when. And then it evolved into something else, and now I have HBO Max. It's the same app that I had from before. They just keep updating it. So that's all it is. I expected that to happen with them incorporating Discovery Plus to it. There's going to be an evolution of the app. It's not getting rid of. It's just an evolution of that merger.
Yeah, they're putting new stuff out there every day. Hell, they just 4K'd the Game of Thrones stuff. They're not going to get rid of HBO Max. They might combine it, but they won't get rid of it.
Well, that's the other question. I think that whatever app they shutter, it's going to be the one that's like least popular. So it'll
be Discovery Plus. It'll be Discovery Plus. I can assure you.
Regardless, we know for sure Thursday they're going to announce something, because this coming out right before that earnings call, I think is done very purposely, because I think they're going to make some kind of announcement on Thursday during the earnings call.
Yeah, but they're not scuttling it. It's just a combination of, like I said, I didn't have to re-download anything. That HBO Now app turned into HBO Max overnight. Well, actually not overnight, but
it'll just turn into an update. It'll just turn into an update. They'll probably shutter Discovery Plus and just roll it into HBO Max.
Yeah,
HBO is more popular.
Let's finish this, and then I got super chats to get to, and then we'll answer this all in order. DC urgently needs all the help it can get. Unlike the behemoth that is Marvel Studios, whose movies occasionally get bad reviews but reliably print money, DC is disorganized, confusing, yet not very profitable mess. I have said this. I said this after Comic-Con. I'm kind of done. They're going to have to prove to me, like with every movie, like I'm not just going in with an optimistic view anymore, which is sad for me because I've always gone into DC movies with an optimistic view thinking, hey, this could be really good. This could be whatever. And now I'm at a point where I feel like, honestly, they have to prove it to me every time to get that back for me, because I just
basically Warner Brothers' blind loyalty is fading away.
Yeah, and so it says Aquaman and Wonder Woman 1984 got mixed notices from critics. Birds of Prey and Suicide Squad were admired flops. The Batman performed okay at the box office for Warner Brothers, netting $770 million with an R rating and got good notices. However, the only DC Extended Universe film
Batman wasn't rated R though.
Yeah, was it?
It was PG-13.
Batman was PG-13.
That's an editor mistake.
But it says the only one to manage to beat the $1 billion box office gross of Dark Knight. What?
Was it the only into the Dark Knight? What?
Yeah, this isn't a very well written paragraph.
Yeah, I don't know what that because Aquaman. Yeah, okay. So
they were scrambling to put this out before everybody else.
Yeah, okay. So it's now the $1 billion club, whatever. Okay, who cares? Meanwhile, Marvel's pandemic era Spider-Man No Way Home has grossed 1.9 million. Okay, yeah, but you know what?
You already know this.
You're gonna compare though a movie that literally like combines 3 franchises and 4 if you want to count the MCU along with 3 different Spider-Man franchises and everything else to like, hey, here's a Batman movie or here's
Right.
a Superman movie, or whatever. No, you just can't do it. Lately, DC's nasty star drama has eclipsed the buzz, such as it is surrounding its movies. Okay, Ezra Miller stuff. Yeah, whatever. I'm not gonna read all that stuff because
This is all just reporting stuff we already knew.
it's all stuff we've already talked about and accusations and whatnot. Ben Affleck, meanwhile, consistently claims he's done with the Cape Crusader, even going so far as to allow Robert Pattinson to take over the role in this year's The Batman. But keeps coming back as a bad This is poorly written too. He's
What?
Really? He keeps coming back at like a bad ex-boyfriend. It was reported last week that Screen Rant that the actor will appear yet again as Bruce Wayne in Aquaman and Lost Kingdom. Perplexing. And remember, he's replacing Michael Keaton in this movie. So this now kind of adds a little bit to the Batgirl thing of like,
what's going on?
What is going on back there?
Ben Affleck.
And again, I don't know how many times we have to say this. Ben Affleck never had a problem with being Batman.
No.
He only had problems with the
previous regime is what he had a problem with.
He only had people with upstairs. That was his problem.
Yeah, his problem was the people at Warner Brothers who were in power at the time. So yes, he had problems. He had problems at home. He had problems with alcohol at the time because of the things going on in his life and the depression that was going around, his career. And yes, the stuff that had to do with Justice League and all that. So he walked away. But obviously things are a little bit better now because he keeps coming back to the role and people love him in the role. So stop.
This guy literally has a bat cave in his basement. Let's be honest here. He loves the character Batman.
So she's coming back. Gal Gadot's coming back for
Wonder Woman 3.
For Wonder Woman.
I believe until I see it.
Okay, so it says DC, which squanders legendary properties with abandon, appears to have no grand plan whatsoever.
We've been saying this for like 2 years.
Exactly. Thanks for catching up there. Soon, however, Wonder Woman won't be the one holding the golden lasso anymore. Instead, power will be wielded by an all-controlling DC film production head who will attempt to turn things around. Before they arrive, killing Batgirl is step one.
Notice
this
they
is
didn't
the
say
end.
Walter Hamada.
This is the end of DC as a hobby, the source said.
Okay.
Now that's a great statement. Because you know what? That is actually how I have felt like they've treated DC. Is not like this is a great thing. This is something that people
I
really
like what
want.
Stephen
They're excited
Colbert
about.
said, where it's like there's only so many times you can just keep kicking the can down the road.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to say this. Look, Zaslav is a known penny pincher. Zaslav is a guy who wants to make money. Yeah. He craves money like Sith Lords crave power. Okay.
He's a businessman.
And treating and as is said in that article, which horrendous article by the way, but as was said in that article, maybe it is time for them to stop treating it like a hobby. If you're going to legitimately pay as much as they did for these properties, you got to make money somehow. Okay.
Yep.
So you need to basically you need to shit or get off the pot. Hate to be vulgar, but
that's what it is, man.
You have to do something with it. Either that or drop it, let it go, let somebody else have the property and cut your losses and run. But at this point, Zaslav is going to want to squeeze as much money as he can out of that property.
Oh, yeah.
I guarantee you. And this is again why I'm saying that they're not going to get rid of HBO Max. Anything that's making them money, and there's 53 million subscribers to HBO Max or something in that nature, they're not going to get rid of HBO Max. They will roll things together. They will do everything they can to continue to make money.
Yeah.
And that's what this is about. And this is what William and I and a couple of other people have said from the start. They need to start looking at this like a business. They need to stop treating this like it's just a little separate IP that they got, that they happen to get in a collection with some other stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
And in this case, like, I think what's going on, it looks bad. It looks scary. It's all out. It's unprecedented, quote unquote. But it's really not as terrifying as people are thinking it is.
No, it's not.
This is rewriting the ship. This is rewriting course. This is rewriting the ship. Let's get it done. Let's put our nose to the grindstone. Make some omelets, break some eggs, and get it done. You got to do what you got to do if you're going to make money on something.
Exactly. Yeah. 205 people watching right now. Thank you for being here.
That is true.
We appreciate you guys being here. And hit that like button, please. Simon, we're going to get to our super chats that we got right now. Simon Section with a $4.99 super chat. Thank you, buddy. Says, maybe it's just me, but the only time I remember being excited to see Batgirl on any platform is when she guest starred in the Adam West version. I met Alicia Silverstone this last year, and I mean, she's still beautiful. She's still pretty. I mean, they wrote her character horrible. Just kind of threw her into a movie that she didn't have any business being in. But I'll be honest. I'll be honest. Young Enosh was really excited to see Alicia Silverstone in the Batgirl outfit. So.
And 20-year-old Thade was also so.
Well, I'll just say 45-year-old Enosh was really excited just to be standing next to Alicia Silverstone in a pantsuit. So I'm
Wow.
so there's that. Thanks, somebody. Samir here with the $1.99 super chat says, "New owner, same old WB." But is it? Because this is different, man. I think this is different, bro.
And that's where I was gonna go to. But finish reading your super chat.
Because this is completely different, Samir. This is not. This is absolutely opposite of what WB has done all this point. WB has just put out crap, and like we said, treated it like, oh, it's just DC. People, those comic nerds will just eat it up anyways because just make it silly. These are the people who like for years were like, hey, let's do a Green Lantern movie, but let's make it a comedy, right? No. I mean, Jack Black was literally attached to play Hal Jordan at one point. Okay?
Yes.
So let's be honest about
that. Would have been bad, very bad.
Can you imagine Jack Black? And I love Jack Black for his comedy and what he is.
For his comedy, but not.
Could you imagine Jack Black as Green Lantern fighting the fart cloud parallax?
No.
Actually, I can. Yes, I can. That I can.
No.
Okay. The sick motherfucker in my head would love that. Okay, the sick, insane, sadistic, SOB that's in my head would have enjoyed that, but this is not what we need to do with DC.
Yeah. No, it just isn't.
I think
no.
Is there any more super chats?
There's one more here. Blue Jay with a $10 super chat. Thank you, sir. Says, I see it like this. It doesn't matter if Batgirl would be a hit or flop. It doesn't matter if it's good or bad. At the very least, your finished work is being put out. I just feel bad for the people. So I will address that. As an artist myself, who's recorded music, who's written songs, and everything that like I've shelved or I've scrapped or I've walked away from, or a project that maybe I walked away from or whatever. There's been many times where I've done video work for people that didn't get used at all. I spent hours and hours and hours working on it, prepping for a big thing, and then we went to go do it, and either it got scrapped for time, or it got scrapped for this reason or that reason, or we just had to completely walk away, or, failure because it was a live event and it just, whatever happened. Stuff happens. Okay. And as an artist, sometimes you have to accept that. It sucks because you're like, you want people to see the thing that you do, right? You want people to see it. And even if people judge it at the back end, Blue Jay, negatively, you still want people to see it. The thing is with this, though, is that if it is that bad, and look, Zaslav is coming in saying we want to do quality stuff. We want a quality DC that is coherent, right? That makes sense to people, because what have we all been saying? This is what we want. This is what we want. This is what we want. Well, as Thade said a minute ago, if you make an omelet, you got to break some eggs. And if something did not meet up to the standard that it needed to meet to go forward, then I'm really glad, because I wish somebody could have gone back and seen what was going on with Batman and Robin and said, yes, this is a bad idea, guys. Right now, look, there's part of me that loves that movie as because I saw it as a kid, there's part of me that loves Superman 4 because I saw it as a kid. And it brings back those memories.
Oh,
Listen. I got this movie right there. I got this movie right here. And I will
get that off the screen right now.
I will defend this film all day long because I'm nostalgic for it. I am nostalgic for this film, man.
I actually just watched that movie last month with my dad.
Dawson!
I'm just
not for the first time, but I was watching it with my dad's.
It's not that bad. It's not that bad.
No. But I'm nostalgic for that film, and I will defend that film. But here's the thing. Imagine if back then somebody was rooting for Christopher Reeve was on record as having said he hated the direction they took his Superman.
Yes, he did.
People don't talk about that because people will defend everything. And I love Christopher Reeve, but let's be honest. I still want to do the video that will piss everybody off that says Christopher
Do
Reeve
it.
would have
Do it.
loved
And I'll be
to have
with you.
been Zack Snyder's Superman because he wanted Superman to be serious. He wanted Superman to be tackling serious issues. That's why he came up with the concept for Superman 4, which was to get rid of nuclear weapons, which was the hot button thing in the mid 80s because we didn't know if we were going to be in World War III from day to day. There was a lot of apocalyptic movies and things coming out at the time, and he was like, hey, we're going to do something with Superman that is real and it's tangible. And then they took the thing and they made it into something else. Now, look, as a kid, I just met the cast from Superman 4. I met Nuclear Man while wearing a Nuclear Man t-shirt. It was awesome. I met Mariel Hemingway. I met the kid who sits there and writes the letter to Superman and goes, I'll tell you what I do. I'd write Superman. I met that kid, man. I met that kid. And Ursa and Nan were there too. And it was an amazing thing. It was fabulous. It was awesome. But guess what? If they could have gone back, imagine how much better it would have been to be able to look back on Superman 4 and go, that movie was fantastic, and there's nobody that can take away from that. There's nobody the direction. Yeah. So that's what I'm talking about, the direction. So
before we go too much further from this, can I say something to that last comment there?
Yes.
That you had?
Yes.
Okay. So look, I feel bad for the people too. Okay, so I'm not completely heartless on this, but let's be honest, people. Cutting movies, cutting parts, it happens all the time. Things get left on the cutting room floor. Now, whole movies doesn't happen all the time, but it does happen. And this, unfortunately, was a cut that was made. Now, we don't have to agree with it, and I'm sure a lot of people don't. Mm-hmm. But let's be completely honest here. This isn't about feelings. This is a business. Yeah. And you have to make money. You have to make money. Now, does it suck? Yes. I've done extra work that got left on the cutting room floor. It's not an easy business out there. Right. And if you run your businesses based on feelings and based on feeling sorry for somebody, then you don't make money as a production company. Mm-hmm. That's not me being heartless. That's just me being honest.
That's facts, man. That's facts.
And one thing I'll say before I gotta take off, but you were talking about life as an artist and things that happen when you're an artist. Like for me, I'm an artist myself, and there are times where, a lot of people say you're your worst or you're your hardest critic, right? But at the same time, as an artist, you sometimes are your biggest fan because you are proud of what you've made. Like there have been pieces that I've drawn that I'm very proud of, that I love because I love the process of making. I think it looks good.
Sure.
But an outside force had to let me know there was something with that piece that wasn't working. That there was something off. I needed an outside eye to see that. And sometimes it happens with big productions like this. And a lot of people are saying in the chat that this is unprecedented, which is true. But small things to this degree, but smaller, have happened all the time where things are made, produced, and all that stuff, and it doesn't end up getting put out there at all. And so, again, it does suck for the cast and crew. I feel bad for Leslie Grace, especially Brendan Fraser. I was excited to see him on a big screen event again because I love Brendan Fraser. But at the end of the day, if something's not working with the studio, I'd rather they decide to fix things in-house rather than put it out there and possibly destroy their reputation as a studio. Again, I don't think the movie was necessarily that bad. I don't know. I haven't seen it, and I probably will never see it. But if they thought it wasn't good enough to put out there, then that's on him. That's on them. So anyway, I gotta take off, but I appreciate having you on.
Dustin, it was good to see you, brother. Come back to Sci-Fi Center. Come back to Sci-Fi Center.
I am happy to come back whenever the possibility arises. And also, CW McKay said, how'd the con go? The con is actually this Saturday and Sunday. And if you guys actually want to see, I got a little sample of some things we'll be selling.
Oh, you got samples?
I do. I got samples.
What kind of samples are there? Are they
like a lot of different tentacles and like massive stomach? Nope, not that, but I got something like this.
Oh, that's nice. That's cool.
Nice.
That's nice, Dawson.
And several comics we selling.
I'm robbing you. I'm just letting you know I'm robbing you. I'm coming to your house and taking
Hey, Dustin, I need some of your art stat to hang up in my apartment.
Well, you can check out my Teespring store. So check that out. Yeah, we'll be selling that at Big Lick Comic Con in Roanoke, Virginia this weekend. So if you guys in the Roanoke area,
Roanoke, aren't you afraid you're going to disappear?
Me?
You know, the old settlers of Old Roanoke disappeared. Anyway.
Oh, I haven't lived
Wait,
in Virginia my
what?
whole life, so there's some things about that I don't know. So anyway,
I have no idea what you're talking about. Okay. All right. All right.
Anyway,
Hey
it's good to see
Dawson,
all you
great to have
guys.
you here, buddy. Great to have you here. Okay.
See you guys.
All right. We actually have Zasloff, live video of Zasloff coaching a little league team and having to break some bad news.
Do you hear that? Listen. Even Grandma in heaven is booing you right now.
Oh, that's harsh, man.
That is hard.
Ouch.
Man.
Ouch.
Well,
okay. Let's do this, and then I want to get to Prime because I want to hear Prime's take on this. So Supercam, where'd it go? There it goes. Supercam. 1721, what's up, buddy? Says, long time, everyone. All hail the axe of Zaslav. Yeah, we've talked about that.
That axe is very mighty, and
it is sharp.
yes, it is.
That is strong. That axe is very strong.
Yes, it is very strong, and it is doing its thing for sure.
Nothing's safe anymore.
Something else, Enosh.
Yes,
Luke Longmire in the chat said something that makes perfect sense. It's not a super chat, but it's a good one to put up on screen.
Okay, give me just a minute. Give me just a minute.
I like what he's saying.
Cameron Robinson with the 990 super chat says, "Wow, Zaslav is shrewd. Implications for this are enormous. He's trying to sanitize anything that was given the okay by the prior executives."
Yes,
I agree with that. And then finally, the one we have here, I like this. I just like this comment. It said, "Can I please edit Enosh onto Nuclear Man, please?" Yes, I would love to see that.
Yes,
I would love to see. Samir here getting in with a 9.99 super chat says, "WB Discovery is doing the same thing WB did, but worse because they actually made the movie before canceling it. At least the old WB guard just announced film slates that they never made." But see, Samir, this movie was already in production, man. That's the thing, is they tried to give this movie a chance. But this movie was already in production before these people came in, so it's not like WB Discovery greenlit this film, put this film into production, and then pulled the plug on it. That's not what happened.
95% done.
Yeah.
Also remember, he does have Alan Horn as a consultant now.
Now, yes.
This could be at the urging of Alan Horn.
It very well could be, and that's I wanted to say that too. I wanted to say that was a comment. Who was it that you said had a good comment?
Luke Longmire.
I'm trying to look back here. How far back was it?
It's probably. It's right there.
There it is. Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I think Caden found it.
Yeah.
I'm a filmmaker. I can confirm from personal experience that entire films get made, millions spent, and they never see the light of day.
Yes, that's true. That's absolutely true. That happens a lot.
Thank you, Luke.
Well, I wanted to mention too, Johnny Pop in the chat brings up a great comment too, and that's a great question to ask too. Like, based on all of this that just happened with these back row directors, is this going to be an issue where like some other directors in Hollywood are going to look over at this and be like, I don't know if I want to work for Warner Brothers Discovery right now.
It could possibly happen.
It didn't hurt Lucasfilm. Didn't hurt Lucasfilm when all the problems happened with Solo. Solo had the exact same problems.
Didn't hurt them.
So
I don't
before
know.
I forget, before I get my thought,
Prime.
so we can get over that. So
It's Prime.
So I know a lot of people want to understand something about the business element. So let's just do a quick synopsis. All right. Now, WB had a plan back in 2013. Okay. The plan was fine. But until former executives start to interfere and sabotage the regime that they was in, the chaos started to happen. They did that to themselves. So now we get into this point. They was trying to do something they were trying to mirror something that another company was already, I say 10 years in already. So that wasn't going to work. They was already on a good course, but they were afraid and they changed their course. You have to remember, the former executives of WB has a product that they don't even know how to utilize. They have DC, a gold mine, and don't know how to utilize it. It's like, for instance, you had something in place, but you wanted to shatter it. You sabotaged yourself. Now, let's go with this forward now. when the campaign started for Zack Snyder's Justice League, okay, this is what made the executives, the former executives, look extremely bad. Did everybody on this panel and everybody in the chat, did they enjoy Zack Snyder's Justice League? But
yes,
the executives said they did not. Are y'all listening to what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, we're listening.
Okay.
Yes.
You had executives that had a product that they sabotaged, that they were making money, and they did it to themselves. You have DC. If DC would have stayed on course, all right, Marvel and Disney, they're going to have their money. They're doing their own thing. They was already 10 years in. If the regime, if they would have never changed that course. Now, right after Zack Snyder's Justice League came out, it made them look very bad because it shows how irresponsible and idiotic that they are as executives. That's why they never wanted to acknowledge it, because they knew they fucked up. They know they did. So they want to stay on their narrative and what they wanted to do. Now, let's fast forward to this now. Before David Zaslav even came into power, I don't know if it was, I forget what news panel that he was on that day. And I think everybody can remember what I'm about to say. But he says, somebody asked him, what did he plan on doing with DC? He said, and he said this verbatim, strictly, that he said he wants to make Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman the focal point moving forward with DC. Do everybody remember that?
Oh, well, no, yeah, he said Superman is a big priority. And Superman's been
it's a very big priority. Now, with that being said, now let's look at all the properties. I forget the gentleman's name earlier, what he said, and I agree with him. Because once the new regime came in, I'm thinking, well, it's either two things that he can do if he's going to literally erase everything that the former executives do. It's just like a coach or or your GM of a team. When you get a GM of a team, he's going to get rid of everybody. He's going to bring in people that he wants. Same thing with a coach. They're going to bring in people that they want. So with this, even though things were already in production and things was already set up, there were certain things you couldn't touch, certain things you can. Now, let's look at it like this. Everything that's in DC right now is all over the place. There ain't no continuity. Nothing is in place with nothing. They strictly said, well, we're just going to stick to standalone movies. And you want to know why they say it is just going to stick to standalone movies? Because of the Joker made $1 billion. When Joker made $1 billion, mind you, a film that they didn't even want to do.
Yep.
A film that they didn't even want to do. So they decided to go ahead and stick with movies that were stand-alone movies, thinking that, okay, well, since the standalone movies are more profitable, we're not going to even worry about doing team-ups and putting stuff together. We're just going to just do stuff individually. Look at all the movies outside of the Batman that has came out that they wanted to do. They have flopped. Except one movie. It didn't make the money, but it got very, very big critical reviews. The Suicide Squad did great with critical reviews. It got a very big score. But profit-wise, it didn't get nothing. So Zaslav is looking at this. You know what? There's nothing that's making sense here. He's axing all this stuff. This is why I'm thinking that I think The Flash is not going to even come out. I don't think it's going to come out. I think he's probably either they're going to change stuff to the movie because they pushed it back, or they're going to axe it.
It's possible.
They're going to axe it.
Nothing's off the table anymore.
Yeah, I still think that The Flash is going to come out.
I just think they might heavily change it.
But I say that I believe The Flash is still going to come out. But I hear your point, Prime, and I do say after seeing something like this, look, we've seen other movies get canceled. Wonder Twins got canceled, right? And everybody's like, "Yeah, right, that's great." Batgirl, like I look, Samir here, obviously, he wanted this film or something because he says, so freaking what? You're a free streaming service. Put it on. You got a free streaming service. Put it on there instead of canceling it, and then says it's bad business. But I will put it this way to you, Samir, and to anyone with this line of thinking: if you felt as a studio that putting out this film and letting people see this film, and remember that there's a difference between, hey, there's a film out there, and that it's a nebulous thing, and is it good? Is it bad? What? Or putting something out that you feel is just that bad. If it's that bad, you don't put it in theaters. You don't put it on streaming. You don't put it on anything. You cut your losses. And here's the point. It's not bad business because, as Thade pointed out earlier, people forget that, when they say, oh, we lost this much money on this movie, it's tax deductible.
Yes.
Also, another point I want to make too.
These studios pay millions of dollars in taxes, and yes, it's a write-off. It's literally like, hey, we lost money. It's just like a small business. I mean, most small businesses, what do? They lose money. Businesses that are just getting up, mom and pop things. You forget, studios and big business, they do this on a much grander scale. But the thing is having your own business, that's the whole point, is you want to spend money, you want to get things out there and put that out there, have those receipts ready at tax time, because at tax time, man, you're going to get those deductions and you're going to pay less in taxes. So it's actually good business to, instead of putting something out there that you think is going to damage your franchise. Remember, we just read that Post article that said that they were concerned about it damaging the IP going forward. So if it was that bad that it was irredeemable and they could not bring it together with what they're trying to do and what their purpose is, it would do damage to the future. So why do damage to the future? Take the loss now, take the tax break now, right? Don't put that film out there. Bring her in on some other thing or whatever, do whatever you're going to do, but don't put something out there that is bad. You know what I mean? Don't do that.
Also something that's telling. Also, something that's very telling is they haven't mentioned anything about a fandom for this year, and we're almost towards the end of the year. I think that's very. I think that's very telling. I honestly think that. I mean, I know we all think that the Flash movie is probably going to still happen, but it might not. Again, like's being said, a lot of things could possibly be on the chopping block right now. A Blue Beetle, the Flash movie, they're killing. They're killing the Flash TV show after this year.
Yes.
And cancel Joker 2.
And also, they're shortening.
Oh, so pretty.
They're shortening the season. They're shortening the season for the Flash season 9. Okay.
Yeah.
I think all of this is indicative of the fact that we don't have a fandom this year, the fact that they're truncating the last season of Flash. The fact that they've gotten rid of CW, the fact that they're changing all of this up, I think is indicative of what Zaslav is doing. And we know that a lot of these projects got passed in at the end by the old regime, okay? Mm-hmm. Because they were coming in under the radar trying to throw this stuff in there. I mean, things like Batgirl and stuff, it got dropped they're near the end, it was almost like hey, let's slip this in here before we leave,
Right.
And a lot of this stuff, dude, they were cutting their losses and running. A lot of this stuff was not going to happen.
This was a good point right here.
This is a good point.
That the test screenings for the Flash have all been reportedly received really well. And if that's the case, I think that does wonders. They've got almost
more
a year.
Salvageable, yeah.
Yeah, it's probably more salvageable, and then going to see something and then going, oh, this absolutely sucks.
You don't think
now that's true, but I will say this because I want to, because everybody is making a great point, but the point that I was going to say, even with that, with me thinking that the Flash is going to get shelved. Now, on the back end, I'm thinking of this. They might just go ahead and do additional photography or just do a reshoot. And with Flash, it's a possibility. They have enough time. The movie ain't coming out to what March or February next year?
The movie has not done. The movie already has scheduled reshoots, I think, for late this year, and they have not done those yet. So there actually is already scheduled reshoots.
Okay, so if that's the case. So if that's the case, that's good. Now, the point that I'm trying to make as a whole, back to what I said about the football analogy or sports analogy, Zaslav is cleaning house. He has nothing to do with that old regime. He has basically cleaned house. He wants something that's going to be legit. And from what I've been hearing, okay, he wants something that is continuity that makes sense. Think about it. People fail to realize this. And I'm not saying this because this is what I want. I'm looking at things that's right here that's making a lot of sense. Alan Horn is back into play. People forget he used to be with Warner Brothers.
Yep.
Okay? He's real good and close with Nolan, Snyder, with a lot of people that was there at that time when they was trying to build up the DCEU at that time. I will not be surprised that they reintroduce the Snyderverse because it's continuity. I will not be surprised. Think about it.
So that's the question that it all comes down to, doesn't it, Prime?
Yeah.
I mean, like, look, everybody, good, bad, indifferent. Yes, there's toxic people. Yes, there's bad people in the fandom. There's good people in the fandom. There's people who are assholes. There's people who are nice. There's people who are all kinds of different backgrounds and said all kinds of different things. There's people who don't get the whole thing at all by threatening people. So let's just get all that stuff out of the way, okay? Let's put all that to the side. This is not the conspiracy theory hour, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying any of that, but I will say this. I can't say it's impossible.
I will not.
I can't say that I wouldn't be surprised if we got some kind of restoration of those original characters. Right now, before everybody comes at me and says, "Oh, you're stupid. It's not going to happen." Whatever. I'm not saying that it's like this is happening. I'm just saying with all this stuff.
Well, again, nothing is off the table.
Who knows? This is RJ. Didn't I just do a video the other night? Nobody knows what's going on with DC. Nobody. Because here's the thing. All these people. I'm sorry, but there were scoopers who latched onto the fact that Deadline was a reputable source, and they started like, "Oh yeah, Henry Cavill's coming back. Didn't you hear? He's coming back. He's coming back." And like, he doesn't even show up, and they're like, "Well, he had COVID, so he couldn't do it, but he's gonna come at Fandom." They keep pushing it back. This is not scooper hour.
Here's the thing: this is not something that you can easily predict anymore. It's like very clear
but
cut.
If
This is definitely what's happening.
But RJ, wouldn't you say
very fluid?
RJ, wouldn't you say if you have people in Warner Brothers, right, like spies or moles who are feeding you information or whatever, like why isn't it that none of the big stuff that actually matters gets scooped?
Yes.
I love that silence, by the way.
That's crazy.
I love that silence.
Hey, look, guys, ultimately, this is about getting butts in the seats. Yes. Okay? All of Hollywood, ultimately, that's what it's about. People can talk about, please, oh God, please.
Yeah,
anyway.
By the way, Johnny has a link, so if you get done, Johnny, and you want to jump in, man, you're welcome.
Anyway, I was gonna finish saying here.
Yeah, go ahead, Dave.
Talk about, they hate the fans, they don't listen to the fans, this or that, whichever side of the argument you come in on. Ultimately, doesn't matter in the end really what the fans want, in so much as the dollar amount still gets made. And what I'm saying by that is getting butts in the seats is the point. So yes, what we want sometimes does matter. In fact, a good 2/3 of the time it does matter. But there's that 1/3 of the time where they're thinking, hey, we got to do what's good for us. And be it you're a Snyderverse person, be it you're a move on person, whatever. And I kindly stand in the center of that. I don't care either way. Okay. And I said this the other day on a Twitter thread that I was speaking on, and people agreed with me. One way or the other, these people have to make money. Because if they don't make money, ultimately you don't get what you want. Okay. And as long as the content is good, what does it matter? Okay. And what I think Zaslav has proven today by canceling this movie and getting rid of a lot of the other stuff we talked about is that he's looking at making this a serious venture. And this is what DC's needed for a long time, because I have said this in the past ad nauseum. I lost interest in the DC lineups right after Zack Snyder's Justice League came out. And it wasn't because I didn't like the Zack Snyder stuff. I loved it, in fact. In fact, I checked into HBO Max the very first time because of Zack Snyder's Justice League. Okay, I wanted to see that stuff continue. But that movie, in the end, was a tease. It was a tease. I went into that watching that cliffhanger and going, we may never get the rest of this. And then the other stuff after it, it didn't interest me because it's just more of the same. And William often says here on the channel that without your Trinity, without your tent poles, you can't go forward as a company.
Thank you.
And I think that point is made. And they can't carry the DCEU with a Flash. Okay, they can't carry the DCEU with Batgirl. They can't carry the DCEU with the past. What they have to do is get Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman under control now.
Yep.
And when you have 9 years, okay, keep in mind, I'm a Marvel fan. We have 4 Thor movies. Superman hasn't gotten a sequel.
You talking about Solo? Yeah.
Well, also
right.
too, Ant-Man got a trilogy before Superman. I just wanted to throw that out there too.
Well, I'm just saying, 9 years, people since Man of Steel. Okay.
Yep.
When you're not even putting respect on Superman's name, you're not doing something right.
Hey,
be it Henry or anybody else playing Superman at this point, when you are not putting respect on the name of the flagship character of your line, which is Superman, you've got nothing.
And with that, and I want to jump onto you on that, which is I'm not jump on you, but at the same time, you got to remember they did like I said, they did a lot of
connection.
Like I said,
I was laughing at 2 things there. I was laughing at what you said, Prime, and I was laughing at what Cylon's saying on the screen. Let me finish. Okay, I'm finished. Yeah. Anyway.
No, but I would just say this quick. It's like Zaslav and Warner Brothers Discovery. Right now, they have a gold mine. They have something that they can actually run with right now. And regardless of how certain people, their outlook on the Snyderverse and things, you got to remember, you cannot live in the past. You got to move forward. Everything is new. It's the same thing with comics. You got to change. I don't like that they tokenize things in the way they're trying to alter already established characters. I don't agree with that. What I do agree with is that you have something that has a gold mine. And all I'm saying is that we know that the haircut of Suicide Squad is coming. We just don't know when they're going to announce it. We already know that if they're going to continue the Snyderverse, and this is just my full hard belief, the only way that they're going to compete with Marvel, they got to restore the Snyderverse. They have to. Because everybody that has watched Zack Snyder's Justice League, I don't care who you are, and I don't care how you felt about anything else. Like homie just said, what I was going to say, everybody got teased. And in that movie, we got what? 1, 2, 3. We have 4 cliffhangers in that. And we still didn't even get the true ending that the former executives told Zack, don't use that. But Zack still filmed it anyway.
Yeah.
So we have 4 movies. We got 4. So you got the Batman. If they do the Batman, another Batman movie with Ben Affleck, if they do it, I'm saying hypothetically. I'm not saying it'll happen. I'm saying what is in place from that movie. Because if you're going to have continuity, all the movies that's in place right now is all over the place. It's confusing to people.
Yeah.
If you go, it's confusing.
Exactly. And that's why I lost interest. There is no continuity to their story.
Right. So if they do the Snyderverse, think about it. You got the Batman story that links at the end. You remember Lex Luthor and Slade talking about that. That's the first. Then you got the introduction for Justice League 2 at the end with the nightmare scene. We know it's going to be a 2. Darkseid is coming. Then you forget Aquaman is right after Justice League. Then
I hear what you're saying, Prime. I hear what you're saying. Can I play devil's advocate for a second?
Go ahead.
Okay, let me play, and I'm going to use the chat to do it. And hear me out. TW McKay says just start again with a new Superman and start again. Dr. Hockey says for crying out loud, just reboot everything. And then Cameron Robinson with the $4.99 super chat. Thank you, Cameron. Says, I'm a Snyder fan. However, Zaslav should worry everyone. whether you're a Snyder fan or not. He just showed he's unpredictable.
Yeah, and
let me
also
play.
another thing is,
Let me play devil's advocate here. Let me
well,
say
before
this.
you say that, also
Because, well,
another thing
no,
is,
I'm the host, so I want to.
I know.
I
Go
will
ahead.
silence you because I have a thought and
Hang
you're
on.
throwing it off right now, Caden. Just keep your thought right there, and I'll come back to you. My thought is this: as big of a Snyder fan as I am, as much as I would love to see that, I hear what you're saying, Prime, but the problem is this. I think that there's been enough maybe after the Snyder stuff where the regime tried to course correct in a different direction away from Snyder stuff and yet still try to hold on to it. And it just became like a jarbled mess. It's like, hey, we're going to keep some of this stuff, but this stuff didn't really happen. And that stuff did happen. And you end up looking like this guy from the one show, trying to piece together what DC thing this is, and does this still fit in continuity? Does that still fit into continuity? Nobody knows. Which Justice League are we going off of? Nobody really knows. They don't actually communicate with the fans. They don't, like, that's one thing that I love about Marvel, at least. Marvel comes out and is just like, hey, here's our plans.
There's
right?
consistency. There's good communication.
Yeah, there's communication between them and us and everybody. And so you might not like a Marvel thing, but you know what?
Feige, though. They got Feige.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's
Look,
built,
and that's
it's
that's why Zaslav
It's
is looking
structured.
for his own Feige. That's why Zaslav is looking for his own Feige.
But my devil's advocate here, though, is even if they go to Snyder stuff, like, and to me, it doesn't even have to be like Snyder coming back and doing it, but like Snyder's vision or whatever. Look, and I want to see it. I want to see at least his vision completed. But are we just too far gone at this point? Does it just make sense that it's like, hey, there's still people, like it's been said, they don't care whether or not Ezra Miller is guilty, innocent, or anything else. They've already made up their mind. This is what they think of Ezra Miller. They don't want to go see the Flash, or they're so pissed off that they're just going to complain about it all day long. So maybe the Flash movie doesn't happen. This Batgirl movie doesn't happen. All these other things that were kind of semi-connected, bringing Keaton back for stuff and trying to like piece all this stuff together, it's just not happening. None of this is working. Maybe Alan Horn steps in and goes, you know what, guys? Let's wipe this slate clean. This is a mess. This is absolute, like, all over the place. There is nothing here that we can latch onto going forward. Even if you wanted to do the Snyder stuff, we got too much stuff afterwards that has gone in a completely different direction that has confused everybody at this point. So if you go jump back to it, we're going to be like, oh, you mean that thing from 7 years ago? Okay. Maybe we do just wipe the slate clean. And we say, it sucks, but maybe that's the best thing. That's devil's advocate. That is not me saying that that's what I want or what I would hope for, because I get it, but the general public. Caden, I'm going to go to you because I promised I would.
I will like to say that because Zaslav comes from a non-scripted area. Like, he's unscripted content. That's what he does. He does reality TV shows. Dr. Pimple Popper, Animal Hospital, whatever. That's his content. And he's coming in here inexperienced with film, with scripted TV and stuff. And of course, and then during the first month or two, he was using Emmerich as an advisor for at least for like a month or two, and then he brought in now Alan Horn as his second advisor, and he has Pam Abdi and Mike DeLuca, who are also as the head of Warner Bros. Films. So it's very, even though like he has all these people who are experienced in film, but it seems like he's not making the right decisions with films and TV right now. If everything that is out there is true about the whole rumored stuff about certain things going back to, no more scripted content on streaming platforms, which is stupid. Like, if that's true, that's 100% stupid, because like I said backstage, and that like if your statement is that we're going to try to use DC to rival Marvel, and Feige says that he also wants DC to succeed where they can rival each other and succeed together, then you have to have a streaming platform for your DC content, like for streaming, for like TV scripted content. And another thing is it's like also the Scoob movie was 100% finished. 100% finished. like, and it was ready to go. Yet,
wow, and
canceled.
That's
like
bad.
it was 100% done, ready to go, and they showed footage.
All they had to do was click on that upload button.
Yeah, click on that upload button, and it's out. But no, let's not do that. Let's, like, and also with like, it's just so odd that like he comes in here and it's like, nope, axis, even though it's
if anything,
if I was DeLuca or Emmerich, if I was DeLuca or Emmerich or Abdi or Horn right now, I'd be like, dude, if a movie's 80% finished in the post-production and above, don't axe it. Like,
but
don't
no,
touch
but
it.
dude, if you're getting, listen, here's my point, and this right here. So, Speak Your Geek says clean house, start from scratch. The Snyderverse was never the answer to rival Marvel. But here's the thing: you're assuming, and I'm not saying. Actually, I'm not going to say this about you, Speak Your Geek, because I'm not saying it. That comment though speaks to how some people feel about it, where they're assuming that Zach or whatever they were looking to rival Marvel. Zach had a 5-film arc. Zach was not trying to do this, hey, we're going to go on for another 20 years on this thing. His thing was, hey, I got a 5-film arc. Then we can do a reboot thing. You could do a thing with the Flash. He's talked about it. Like it's been out there. So like when people try to put that on Zach, I give pushback to that, because that was never the point. It was to make just some good, different kind of DC films that were more serious tone, like some of us had been asking for a long time. And that's just the honest truth, because there's a lot of us who are asking for that type of film. And let's also point out that all of that's not on Zack Snyder, because Warner Brothers wanted a Batman v Superman movie regardless. That was their
they don't want to write the script. They don't want to write the script.
They came to everybody blames Zack Snyder for the films that they don't like. But let's be honest. I love Man of Steel, but like Zack didn't write Man of Steel.
David Goyer wrote it.
Yes, Zack was brought on to that movie. Then they did Batman v Superman, which was a movie that Warner Brothers was always going to make. They wanted a Batman v Superman movie. It was literally freaking called Batman v Superman. Like that was the whole freaking point.
And they called Zach and Terrio to write it. They actually called Chris Terrio in to help Zach to help them write it, to fix whatever, inconsistencies or problems that was in the script.
Exactly.
So Zach put it in his image and what he did, so he conjoined it with Man of Steel, which was absolutely fantastic.
Yep.
So,
but it's not all on Zach. So like, yeah. So I mean, like even like, yeah. I get it. Yes, he was involved in it, obviously, because he was directing it and he was producing it, like making it. But the point was Warner Brothers was the one pushing for that. Warner Brothers wanted something different. Warner Brothers wanted that film. They wanted BVS. They literally wanted Batman v Superman, and so Zach provided that to them. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's be honest about that. Let's have an honest conversation. Let's not get caught up in the trifle stuff where it's like, I hate Zach, you like Zach. Oh, you're on Zach's nutsack. What I just saw in there, like you hate Zach, so I hate you. Whatever. Like that's nonsense. That is not coherent to a good conversation about actually trying to get to the bottom of what it means to be a fan, what these movies represent to us. Like, obviously, if you want to see a good DC content, I like you. Okay? I like you. I want to have that conversation with you because I'm also interested in what you would consider good DC content versus what I would consider good DC content, right? But just because we like different versions of a character or different thing, that's the one beautiful thing about these characters is there are different versions and they get rebooted and there's different versions even on TV to movies or movies to movies.
Well, it's comics actually. They rebooted stuff. They rebooted stuff in the comics like wow.
Well, exactly. So to come in, so I would just tell everybody in the chat to come in like with a comment that like you suck or oh here we go again. Like it's not here we go again because that's not the kind of conversations we have here. And if you think those are the kind of conversations that we have here, then you obviously don't listen to me. You don't listen to what's going on here. Maybe you're new. And if you're new, I just want to tell you that's not the conversations we have here. I am upfront with the fact that what I like. Okay, but I don't hate you for what you like or if you don't like what I don't like. My friend Crazy Joe, he loves Justice League. Like he absolutely loves Justice League. He does not like the Snyder cut at all, and he's still my friend. Okay, so I don't know how he does it. I don't know how he does it. I don't claim to know how he does it. I don't.
I gotta laugh at that one.
But he also got mad a couple of days ago when Sylvester Stallone came out and said what he did about the Drago movie possibility, and Joe was very upset about it and said that Stallone was a selfish SOB who was just taking it all to himself, and he was costing Dolph Lundgren and the other people a job. When it's been well documented what's happened behind the scenes with Rocky and that franchise and all that stuff. So my point is to you guys, enjoy what you enjoy. All right. But if you come to the table, let's have a good, serious conversation about what it means to be a DC fan, what this could look like going forward. Well, maybe there's a happy medium somewhere here where it doesn't have to be Super Friends, because that's not going to work. If you sit there and think that Super Friends style stuff where, hey, I'm Superman, like I'm sorry, but that's BS, and I puke on that, because there's no way that I want to see I'm the most perfect Boy Scout in the world. I don't want to. It's funny in a Super Pets thing. It is not funny in a live action connotation.
Also, I think we let our emotions way outweigh what we're talking about. I think we let so as a fan. And I say this just from my own personal experience, okay? I don't try to get overly bent out of shape about what somebody else says. Because at one point, I remember, at one point back in the day when I was in my early 20s, which was, 30 years ago now.
I'm right there with you, Hank.
But,
I'm up there too.
But, 30 years ago now, back in the day when the nerd thing, when we had to band together as nerds, protection, whatever.
Right.
I think that we've forgotten our path. We've forgotten where we were going with that. Everything has become so superheated. And to be honest, that's why I haven't been around a whole lot, because this DC thing gets way too heated. Zack Snyder, no Zack Snyder, whatever. Everybody wants to fight. And that's not what we're supposed to be doing here. We're supposed to discuss, evaluate, and enjoy the fact that we're all fans of something. Okay? And I think we way too far let our emotions guide what we're doing here. She makes a good point. But that's my point on all that.
Yes. Krypton was the time to DCU, and Krypton was a very good show. For a lot of people that have not watched it, it was a very good show. I mean, David Gordon,
very good show that unfortunately got killed way too early.
Yes, it did.
I want to address it because there's enough people on the panel that I think can speak to this. Anthony says here, I understand why fans want to wipe the slate clean, because the Snyderverse caused the DCEU fandom to become very toxic, so I can understand, but I'm not okay with it. And then goes on to say it was not Zack Snyder's fault that his fan base took it a little too far and was attacking the moderate DCEU fans, saying they don't know anything about the comics or movies. So I agree with you, but also here's the thing. Here's the problem with that too. I'm a Zack Snyder fan, but I never did that to anybody. Right. And listen, I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I got room full of toys of all kinds, but this started as a Star Wars collection, right? I'm a huge Star Wars guy. But the thing is there's Star Wars fans that I can't stand that have taken things way too far and have become very, very toxic. And dude, they wrote the book. Star Wars wrote the book on having fans that don't understand the thing that they love and don't understand.
I'm in that fandom. In that fandom. I know how it is.
Look, we wrote the book on that. We wrote the book on that, man, as far as forgetting what was in the last movie because we're pissed off at this movie and we don't understand how things connect and everything sucks. And I literally just showed, I'm going to show it again. I showed it last night, but I showed this video right here. Think about this and put this in perspective with not just Star Wars, but DC in general as well. Okay.
Fandom in general.
24 hours since I invited the wrath of the internet upon me by suggesting that maybe The Last Jedi isn't the worst movie in the history of ever. And it's reminding me that if Star Wars internet culture had existed during the 80s, everyone who hates The Last Jedi would, by necessity, have also hated Empire Strikes Back. I'm sorry, Luke is using the Force for telekinesis. There was no hint that it was capable of doing that before. The presence of ion cannon technology completely invalidates all star battles we've seen to this point. Where did the character Lando Calrissian come from? This is clearly just forced diversity. Why did Luke even go to Dagobah? He wasn't a Jedi when he arrived, and he wasn't one when he left. What was even the point? I'm sorry, the canon has very clearly established that Luke's father was Anakin Skywalker. Saying that it's Darth Vader is just shock value, and it completely breaks the internal consistency. I'm sorry, a Jedi Master is supposed to be a super powerful warrior. It is completely unrealistic that he would just go off into hiding and act like some weird hermit so people would just leave him alone.
I also want to add to that, Enosh, and I said this last night on another stream.
Clark is not okay.
When the original trilogy of Star Wars came out, okay, the first movie did well. Everybody seemed to like Empire, but Return of the Jedi didn't do so well at the box office, and a lot of fans were not happy about that movie.
Exactly,
because teddy bears they made it for kids, quote unquote.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? You talking about Return?
Listen though. But now revisionist history says you can't touch the perfection of the original trilogy.
Yep.
Okay. Now all of a sudden it's perfect.
Yep.
Then remember all the people that were pissed off about the prequels. Now the prequels are some people's childhood, and now we hate the sequels. Dude, this is wash and repeat, wash and repeat, wash and repeat. It's look, like what you like, don't like what you don't like, but don't attack somebody else for something they like or dislike. It's retarded. Like, that's the only thing that I really see as retardation at this point amongst the fandom.
You went and did it, Thade. You went and did it. Like, you had such a great point, and now you're canceled. So,
okay, cancel me. I don't give up.
I know.
Anyway.
Okay,
but like,
so Hank keeps saying this in the comments. I love you, Hank. I love that. Look at this guy's smile. I like this guy's smile, man. Like, that's a happy person right there, and I like that, Hank. So, here's the thing. In the comics, during the death of Superman, though, Clark was dead as well. So it's writing, right? I mean, like it's writing. When we get into bullet points of like how are they going to do this? How could you ever do this? How could you ever do that? It's writing. It's literally just getting together in a room and saying this is where these characters are going. This is how these characters would do what they're doing, and going
like
forward,
Stan Lee said it the best. He had an interview and he said it's like, look, as me as the writer, it's not verbatim that I'm saying, but he says, however I want these characters to end up, if I'm the writer or whoever the writer is, because he said in the actual video that he had, because he said he hates the conversation of who would win this, who would win that. It's supposed to be this, it's supposed to be that. No, whatever that I write or whatever the writers writes, and what they want, that's what it's going to be. I do the outcome. And that's just the way it's supposed to be. That's how you end the argument of anything. Whatever the writer decides what he or she is writing and what they're doing, that is what's going to happen. It's all up
I
to
see
the writer.
I see some of you in the chat going on about how you hate the take of that last guy who said that about Star Wars. I just point out, people literally did have a problem with Empire.
I didn't know that until y'all just said it, because I thought everybody
people had a
Empire
problem with
Strikes.
Empire. We don't talk about it a lot, and it's not as like in our memories fresh, because most of the people who are out here bitching and complaining about Star Wars these days, they weren't born. They weren't around.
Yeah.
Okay,
I don't remember because I was little.
I was three and a half when The Empire Strikes Back came out, and you know what? I went to it. And here's the thing: at my 4th birthday party, I have the video. Maybe I'll download it sometime and play it for you. My 4th birthday party was a Star Wars birthday party. I wore a C-3PO Halloween costume because my birthday is September 24th, and Halloween was coming up, so I already had my Halloween costume with the old rubber band that went around, and I was C-3PO. And I went, and I got an X-wing, I got a TIE fighter, I got Luke, Han, Leia, Lando, and everybody. I got a land speeder and stuff. I wish to God I still had this stuff in the box, because I'm watching myself take it out of the box at 4 years old. And my family's looking at me, asking me questions about each character and stuff. And they get to Luke and they're like, is Luke a Jedi? And I'm like, nope, not yet. So I was 3.5 when I saw the movie, and I figured out I could follow the points of the movie.
Empire's a classic, though.
Right. But that's the thing, is like kids loved it. It was what it was. But it's got so much continuity weirdness. Yes, Leia kissed her brother. What the heck would they have done if they were a love triangle for the first 2 movies?
They didn't even know they were brother and sister, though.
Look, the continuity of those movies was screwed. Okay, Like, people seem to think that whole system had that whole series had some sort of plan. There was no plan.
It was
for the
literally
original
being
trilogy.
written on. It was being written on the set sometimes, guys. Like, they were gonna kill off Han Solo because Harrison Ford hated the character, did not want to come back, and George told him, "I can't sell dead Han Solo toys."
What?
So,
I didn't.
yes,
And Han is my favorite character.
He flat out told him that. That's why it was such a big deal that he came back at all for the sequels, because he hates the character. He hated portraying the character. He hated. He appreciates. He's talked about it that he hates that he appreciates what it got him as far as his career. That he moved on to like Indiana Jones and things like that. But he was never happy with his character, and he wanted to be killed off in Empire. And, and he was told no. That's why if you watch Return of the Jedi and you literally watch, everybody's like, well, it doesn't make any sense that in the sequel trilogy the main characters are never together. The main characters are never together hardly at all in the original trilogy. They're like over here and over there, and for a couple minutes they're together. Like, oh, you know, in Empire they're never together, okay, except for the very beginning of the film, when they fly off and they're like, I owe you one.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever.
You talk about when they all Hoyt?
Yeah, and the same thing with Jedi. They're all together for like a minute. Oh, thanks, kid. Now I owe you one, right? And so then they go their separate ways, and then they come back together. But the thing is Han is barely in the film. Like, if you notice it, Han doesn't really do much in Jedi. Like, as far as actually doing something.
Until the indoor battle.
He is kind of sidelined because, like, Luke is doing a bunch of stuff. You got Leia doing stuff. Like, but honestly, if you look at Han, and that's because they weren't sure, like, how much he was going to be there and whatnot, right? So I don't know. We got off on Star Wars. But yeah, there is so much there. And so the point rests the same with DC, though, is we have to stop looking at everything for what we hate. Okay, stop complaining about it so much and understand, like, it's a good thing when a studio looks at something and says, this was bad. This was not going to be good. And I know there's always going to be the people, well, the studio doesn't know. Well, listen, I've seen enough bad DC stuff now. Okay, look, as big as a Star Wars fan as I am, and as much as I will defend Last Jedi, I've got a lot of problems with The Rise of Skywalker. Okay? But do you want to know what I feel the problem with The Rise of Skywalker is? We talked about Solo a few minutes ago. People, I'm going to boycott Solo. Well, what happened? Now, I talk to people all the time. And during 2021, I've said it many times on this program, I was getting 3 to 5 messages a week in 2021 there for a while from people going, because we talked about Solo a lot and stuff, and people saying, you know, I watched Solo for the first time, and dang, I really wish I would have seen it in the theater now.
Yeah, because it's not a bad movie.
It's not a bad film. It's not a bad film.
I said that too, Enosh, didn't I?
Yeah, and it had all kinds of issues back in the day and whatnot, right? But people boycotted it because we were so angry. And yes, I think it did have an effect on Lucasfilm and how they presented The Rise of Skywalker. And The Rise of Skywalker was their answer to be like, oh, well, we're going to do all these things to try to make everybody happy, right? We're going to try to make everybody happy with everything that we did. And they made nobody happy, because they didn't commit to the story that was there, which could have been awesome and amazing, but they didn't do that. And so they tried, yes, Josiah, they tried retconning it, The Last Jedi, or trying to, like, keep it, but not quite, but we're not going to focus on that. We're going to do this and this. And it was just, it becomes a jarbled mess sometimes. And then, like, we're doing things like, oh yeah, well, here's Chewie getting a medal just for it's fan service, right? And if we do enough things that make the fans smile, maybe they'll like us again. And here's the point. No, if a movie is bad, it's bad. And stop trying to make it good. And we've seen that with DC so many times. I mean, look, we got Steel, for God's sake.
That's why I said they didn't know what to do with the properties. They had a
that movie.
They didn't know what to do with.
Prime, look, man, look at Steel, right? I mean, for God's sake, that movie in no way resembles
Steel.
John Henry Irons.
No,
not at all.
Not at all.
And this is where people go, it doesn't have to be like the comics.
Shit.
Adaptation.
Okay, listen. That's like, remember when we were going to get Superman Lives, right? And the original thing was John Peters was like, I don't want him to fly. John Peters literally was going to make a Superman movie saying, I don't want Superman to fly. What? I don't want him to have a cape. And you got to put a giant freaking robot spider in that movie. It's well documented.
And the giant spider ended up in Wild Wild West.
In Wild Wild West, because John Peters had to have a giant freaking robot spider. So let's be honest about this. I'm glad that movie didn't have it. Now, is there a weird curiosity?
Of course.
Of course there is. I love John Schnepp's documentary. If you've never seen it, I actually got it downloaded, but because some of us bought the movie, and got it that way. And I love that film. It's a great film. If you've never seen it, it's called it's John Schnepp's documentary about Superman Lives. What was it called? The hold on a second. I'll look it up here. But it's all about that that film and and how it didn't get made with Nicolas Cage and
I heard about the Nicolas Cage thing. Yeah.
So it's that film, but that film originally.
What's the name of that documentary?
That's what I'm looking up right. It's called The Death of Superman Lives. Yep. The death of Superman Lives, and it documents that whole thing because from start to finish, it went through so many crazy things. And Nicolas Cage Superman and like a weird like futuristic Superman thing, and look at all the pictures of Nicolas Cage with like. And some of them look actually decent. Some of them look like death warmed over, and some of them look like they left death cold on the slab. But it's weird, right? It's a weird film. But like, thank God somebody came in at the last hour and said, no,
no.
I have a morbid like kind of like now looking back. But you know what that stems from?
Justice
You know what that
Mortal?
stems from?
How about Justice League Mortal?
Justice League Mortal. Right? Like the writer's strike happened. They were literally 2 weeks away from starting filming. It was coming. And then all of a sudden it didn't.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Right. And honestly, I've seen readings. You can find them here on YouTube. Readings of the script. And it's okay, but it reads like a cartoon version of Justice League. It doesn't read like an actual serious take on the Justice League, right? But you know what? I have a morbid curiosity, right? I have a morbid curiosity, but you know what that stems from is the fact that I know it's not going to be the main continuity thing going forward. I can be okay with something if I know it's not going to be the thing, right? And so I feel like maybe that's what this was. That's what this was with this Batgirl thing, was that they saw something and they made a decision about it. And yes, there might be some people who are upset because they wanted to see Batgirl. I get it. I don't have a problem with Michael Keaton. I have said many times, my theory is that they probably were going to do something in the Flash movie where at the end, because he runs throughout all the universes or whatever, comes back at the end and he screwed up the timeline just like he did in the actual Flashpoint, storyline. And maybe instead of Thomas Wayne being Batman, Michael Keaton is now in his universe, right? And there was those like leaks or whatever that said that he comes back and like it's Keaton's Batman and there was a parallel to Batman v Superman where the Flash was reaching out to Ben Affleck's Batman and said, hey, Lois is the key, but it was flipped and it was Ben going, hey, come find us, because they were out there somewhere and they got to figure it out or whatever. And maybe it was going to be a cliffhanger. Maybe it was going to be all that. I don't know. But the point is that sometimes if something's going to be bad anyways, and if they don't have a plot, and we've been talking about this for so long on the channel, that DC has not known what they're doing. Prime hit it right on the head, where DC has all these properties. They've got some of the most amazing characters ever created, some of the biggest possible IPs ever, and they just simply don't know what to do with them.
Exactly. It's crazy.
So it
and
is.
And the thing is that reaches out to the comics too. Like DC Comics right now is horribly disjointed. Like the Batman books are doing their own thing, the Superman books are doing their own thing. There's this storyline and that storyline and this storyline and that story. There is no continuity even in the comic books, which makes that hard to read. And just to answer a question down there, I know it was asked of Enosh, but I prefer post-crisis DC versus New 52 DC.
I like New 52. I like post-crisis
I'm gonna star that real quick, and I'll get back to it because I got a couple of things I want to answer. First of all, Blue Jay, thank you so much. I appreciate this. Says I may be getting bent out of shape over this, but I see as this one day it'll get finished and released regardless. Enosh, you are awesome. Thank you, Blue Jay. I think that it's like one of those things. Maybe one day, who knows, right? Maybe one day we will see it, but it for now we're not going to. Hold on, wait a second. Where RJ left, but he's here. He says breaking news from Variety.
Yeah.
Those HBO Max rumors might be legit.
The rumors about the whole HBO Max merging with Discovery Plus.
Yeah,
Again, a merger is fine, but they're not going to destroy their streaming service.
They're not going to destroy it. They're not going to destroy that.
They're going to have, even if they rename it, man. It started off as DC Universe, right? And then DC Universe just folded into HBO Max. I mean, there could be. Who knows the things that
literally they are just going to change a name. That's all they're going to do.
They're just merging the two systems, guys.
Nobody in this day and age will get rid of a streaming service. That would be death for your company.
Nobody in this day and age thought that Batgirl was going to get canceled.
I don't know about that, man, because there were people. Yeah, there was a couple people on this channel even who were saying, "Hey, you know what? Anything could go in," and no, and then all of a sudden it was gone. So I would say nobody. But
okay, there was one movie versus a streaming service is a huge difference.
Yeah, well, because of what the streaming service means, because they have so much content on that streaming service, right?
Yes,
so it's not just one film that you just write off a film, like you're writing off your entire library at that point. You have to fold it into something else. Who knows? It may not be called HBO Max, right? They could call it something else.
It might be HBO Discovery.
It
might be HBO Discovery, or it might be Discovery Max. It might be anything.
It might be anything. It might be Croc Plus. some of you don't know that. That's I mean, there's a lot of great shows on Croc Plus coming up. I mean, have you guys seen some of the brilliant stuff? I mean, there's a new show called It's All Smoke and Mirrors. That looks like it. That looks like it's going to be there's a great movie coming out called Willie Doomcock and the Salt Factory. That one looks amazing. There's some other things. Let's see what else is coming to Croc Plus. Hold on, where did it go? I'm trying to find it.
Hey, did you hear that they're actually changing the name? They're going to call it Crock of Shit Plus. Anyway.
Oh, well, I don't know. I don't know, but I mean, Blue Butthole is coming.
Oh shit! Oh,
Blue Butthole is coming to Croc Plus. The prequel trilogy, where every character is played by Brie Larson, is coming to Croc Plus.
Oh, dude, I'm looking forward to that.
Yep, I mean, Fandom Menace Babies is coming. It's going to be great. I'm all about it. Likey is coming. Yes, it's all going to be good, man. And you just got to take it all with an asteroid of salt. Oh, but this is my favorite. My favorite one though is Mean Geeks. That one's going to be just brilliant.
Oh God, that's going to be a plus.
It's going to be. That's why it's called Croc Plus, my friend. That's why it's called Croc Plus. Okay, so two things that we'll move on. So there was this. The worst thing about Steel was the casting of Shaq in the lead role. And you know what's weird about that is the character of Steel was literally fashioned after the look of Shaquille O'Neal. When they were writing that whole thing. And William, I see you back there. You can bring yourself in, man, whenever you want to bring in. But when they were putting that together, two characters, it's very interesting. Steel was patterned after Shaquille O'Neal, and Superboy was patterned after Brian Austin Green.
Yep.
Had the same haircut and everything.
That is correct.
Enosh, are you a fan of the New 52 DC era or the post-Crisis DC era? Just curious because New 52 was so hated. Yeah, see, you know what? Pretty much.
I love New 52. I love New 52.
New 52, I didn't have a problem. There was a lot of things in New 52 I didn't have a problem with. Superman in New 52 absolutely sucked in every possible way. I can't.
You think so? I loved it.
I cannot stand New 52 Superman. It doesn't make any sense. They didn't really mess with Batman too much as far as like who the character was or whatever, and a lot of the other characters. But Superman, they just like it started off like they had something kind of going. That was like, okay, this is interesting, and then they just destroyed the character. For me, it will always be post-Crisis. John Byrne, and I keep saying this, John Byrne, Man of Steel era. into the Dan
Dan
Jurgens
Jurgens
era. And
era.
I've had Dan Jurgens on this show talk to
Yes,
that man.
you have.
And I love that man. That man fashioned for me what I believe Superman should be, should represent. Clark is the real person. His struggle between being human and Kryptonian and the world that he is in and all those things, man. And it just,
but you have to look at it like this too. Right after post crisis though, in the comics, when John Byrne, when he did Man of Steel, and when they restructured the character after that, that was good. You know, I like the way what he did in that run of Man of Steel. It was only 6 parts, and then I'm surprised you didn't like the New 52 Superman. I actually loved it.
Yeah, I was just not a fan of New 52 Superman. I just felt like they made him just kind of weird. It was weird. I didn't like the costume. I didn't like a lot of stuff.
My problem with the New 52 Superman, and my problem with the New 52 in general, and it wasn't all horrible, I will admit that, but that's where things started to get disjointed in the comics for me. Like, again, continuity was not being held very well at that time.
I mean, I get what you're saying, because when they did the New 52, they pretty much, Jim Lee even said it. He said the New 52 was only like a, what did he say? It was only supposed to be like a temporary arc, like a
right. It was supposed to. It was always going to lead into Rebirth.
Right. It was a lead on it was supposed to be 52 issues, something of that magnitude. Now the characters that they only mess with, Batman, they didn't mess with at all. They only did Green Lantern, Aquaman, Superman, Wonder Woman, and some other characters as well that they really, you know, changed a little bit, which was actually for the better, because Green Lantern, that was absolutely fantastic. Aquaman was fantastic. I like the Superman.
Don't mean to interrupt whoever that is. I'm on the phone. I just needed to jump in real quick on that rumor about the. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hey, on the HBO Max going away thing, that is not really a rumor. That's sort of true. That's something he announced at the beginning. It's going to get consolidated over the next 2 years into what Discovery already is. So Discovery's streaming service and HBO Max will be merged. Nobody knows what the name is going to be yet, but that was his intention. He even announced that even prior to officially taking over the company. So HBO Max technically is going away. It's just going to get absorbed into what Warner Brothers Discovery already is.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, and that's what we were saying, William.
Yeah.
That's what we were saying.
Okay, I couldn't hear because I'm outside, but go ahead.
I mean, that makes total sense. I mean, for them to do that makes total sense. But depending on how much, you know, they're going to charge for the package and all that stuff, it makes a lot of sense.
I disagree with the move. I don't agree with merging, because there's two different distinct audiences for what's on Discovery and what's on HBO Max. And right now, if you get up to 75 million subscribers, you're talking about, you know, literally $1 billion a month eventually when you get up to the amount of subscribers you need. And just for HBO Max alone, I don't know if in the HBO Max, HBO period is a strong brand name. Even though Discovery was able to purchase Warner Brothers, that doesn't mean that HBO, people know when that static screen comes on for HBO, they know something big's about to happen. That's a brand name. So I disagree with them merging it, but it's cheaper to run one bigger streaming service than to have two.
They might do something of what Disney's done with Hulu. You get, you know, Hulu, Disney Plus, and ESPN. It could be something like that, a bundle deal.
That's what I would like to see. I would love to see that, but it doesn't.
And that's most likely what they're going to do.
Yeah, I hope that's what happens, because, like I said, I love my bundle, because I have the Disney bundle for like $12 or whatever it is, $13.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a good value. Mm-hmm. So
that's a wonderful value. It's a wonderful value.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's
it's a commercial for Disney Plus. All of a sudden, it's a wonderful value. I really like it, and there's lots of great content on there that I enjoy on a regular basis. Especially like that new
with the radio voice.
Yes, I especially like that Disney Plus After Dark option, where I can watch all my favorite shows, but with all the characters naked. It's awesome. They've actually left that really raunchy stuff that they've hidden in every cartoon, but really taken it to the next level. That's right. In when Mufasa falls over, or not Mufasa, in The Lion King, when they fall over and the dust goes up, it still says sex in it. It's awesome. It's fantastic. Yes.
Yes, and with the great JC show.
What other things did you guys bring up that are going? That, like I said, I think
I love
everything
William.
William
I love the consummate old man. Oh, where else did you guys bring up here? And I was gone. I was out of a commission for a while. And I
Well, no,
was
I'm
just
not
gone.
sure.
Shall I remind you that William and I are the same age, Enoch?
It's the unscheduled stream. I'm trying to do the best I can to contribute.
I'm just doing the best I can. Can you
All right.
please
In
warm
all
me up
seriousness,
some milk? Warm me up some milk, please. Back
with limited time I have, I'd like to take it a little bit more seriously. What other ones that you guys are think are going to go away? I think they all are, but go ahead. Blue Beetle, Black Canary.
Everything's on the table. We
I
don't
think
know.
everything's on the table at this point, dude. But I think Blue Beetle is probably still going to happen. I think Blue Beetle. By the way, there's 176 people still here. We have, there are 102 likes right now. You guys are awesome, taking this over 100 likes. Please, if you have not hit that like button, please hit that like button, and let's take it even further. Thank you guys so much. You guys are awesome. But yeah, I think Blue Beetle is probably still gonna happen.
I'm gonna bet against it.
Really? I
more
don't know
justification for Blue Beetle than there
we have to
was for
see
Batgirl.
how the dailies are going. Now that Zaslav's in control, he and his crew can look at the dailies and see that this is good or bad. Batgirl was all, practically done by the time they were legally entitled to do anything.
Which
and
means
again,
it's a lot easier for them to scrap Blue Beetle than it is for them to have scrap Batgirl, and they did.
Yeah, I know. Well, again, anything's possible. And remember, everyone in the chat here, remember just a few weeks ago, all of y'all wanted heads to roll? When Zaslav, the ink wasn't even dry on the document yet for the merger.
Right.
And here
Right.
it is. Oh my God, draconian measures. How can they do
No,
this?
this is what
Oh
should
my
have
God,
happened.
this is the same company. Yes,
This is what should have happened before Zaslav.
This is what
took
happens
over.
when a house cleaning goes. I've been around all the companies that I've worked with at one point in time. Even if it's just a change in management, or heaven forbid, you did get bought out by somebody else, crap's going to happen, folks, and it ain't going to be pretty. You want heads to roll? They're rolling now. How do you feel? All of a sudden, oh no, your sensibilities can't take it?
It's going to make you feel uncomfortable, right? I mean, that's the whole point. But a shakeup will make you feel uncomfortable and should make you feel uncomfortable. And, look, I know it's... Yeah. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Like I said, no, they just wanted heads to roll. Well, guess what, guys? This is what heads rolling do. And everyone, it's the same company, but you kept saying the old regime didn't know what they're doing. Well, guess what? The new regime's saying exactly that. And we're going to cut the fat wherever we see it, and they're doing it, and I'm happy about it.
This phone's overheating real quick. Here's my quick prediction before this thing overheats, is that anything that does not involve the Trinity, the main players, the A-list players, I think is going to be cut away. I think the B players he will eventually get around to them, but I think anything that is not an A-lister will not be followed through. That's just a gut feeling because of his intended statement that he said basically about those prime characters not being given enough attention, and he's got to look at the slate that he's doing now and seeing all these B and C characters going forward when we don't have A characters established yet. So I don't think Blue Beetle is going to happen. I could be 100% wrong, but
Caden, you just tweeted something that Caden left. Okay,
Caden left.
Here. So Caden just tweeted something though that is a great point, and that is he said, "I just realized that Batgirl movie was supposed to be the lead-in for Black Canary."
Oh, Black Canary's going to go bye-bye for now then.
Yeah, Black Canary gone. I could have said that. Black Canary
was gonna be gone. That's the thing.
Yeah,
a lot of these secondary properties are going out the window.
Yeah.
Right. That's a given. That is definitely gone. Especially
big deal. Yeah.
Hey, the only thing that I could think of is this. If it does, I'm just throwing it out there. Hey, you could put the new guys back into production.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's something that they could have. Because me personally, when they did New Gods and they was doing it, even though Tom King was writing it with Ava DuVernay, I really did not like them having Ava DuVernay, not only as a director, but also as a writer for New Gods. No, because they didn't know nothing.
No.
I could tell you, they didn't know nothing about New Genesis. They didn't know nothing. They probably ain't know about anything. And even if you did, even though it's how short as New Gods is, I know for a fact now the gentleman that did write the script for New Gods at the time, I just went off the track. Well, they cut him off. They stole his script and then they wanted to change it. So that's kind of messed up. And then now they scrapped it.
So two things. I'm interested in get you guys' opinion because we haven't talked about these two things. One is just a statement about what we talk about here on the lounge, right? And I'm just going to put this out there, and that is for quite a while now. I tease William, but William and I have both said, in the face of people going on and on about how, oh, it's in production, they're not going to cancel it. How many times have we heard that, guys, on this show?
Plenty, way too many times.
Right? And listen, I love those people. Some of them were on this panel tonight, right? But we've gotten past that, right? But like also, I think it's brought some levity and like some people are going, wow, like I didn't think that would happen, right? And they've been upfront about that, so that's fine. I'm not teasing about that, but that was the thing, right? Well, it's in production, guys, so look, they're not going to stop it, they're not going to shut it down. Well.
They can do it if they want to.
They just shut it down. And like they shut down a huge movie, right? So there's that. Also, people have said, they said the same thing about Emmerich, right? Emmerich's not going anywhere. Emmerich, it's like, yeah, Emmerich, and we said he's probably not going to get axed, but he's going to get, a nice little send-off deal, and he's going to go off in his own thing. Now, that being said, something that we haven't talked about at all here, and that is the Michael Keaton aspect of this. They went and got Michael Keaton to come back for all these movies, for all these appearances. He's gone back. He's gone on interviews. He's done all these things talking about what it was like to be back in the suit, what it was like to, be Batman again, that he's Batman, blah, 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 et cetera, et cetera. And last week, we heard that his role gets cut out of Aquaman with Ben Affleck returning. This week, we hear that his other triumphant return, which was him in the movie that we've seen all these brilliant shots. I mean that mural of Batman and Robin. Remember the mural that we discussed and talked about at nausea, right? So all of that, and Michael Keaton's not going to be in that movie either.
Yep.
How frustrated? I mean, if they do have plans for Michael Keaton later on, how frustrated is he that he put in all this work, went and did all this stuff? And I get it, it's the kind of the flip side of that where it's like, yeah, you guys did a lot to bring me back in. What was the point of all that?
Financially, he's not hurting. He got paid anyway.
Well, I know he got paid, but still yet. I mean, that was a lot to bring him back in.
They were using him, just to make everybody happy because no one hates him, and I feel bad that we wasted the talents of a great actor. But again, this is what Zaslav saw, and it's like, it's not fitting into where they want to go, what they want to do, what the old regime had in mind. And again, remember, guys, these are the guys that dashed Zack Snyder's Justice League, turned it into Justice League because they wanted their year-end bonus.
Yep.
Okay? Again, I reiterate, yes, I will repeat those things to remind you of the character of that former regime. And again, notice the difference of behavior. You guys wanted heads to roll back then. Now you're getting it, and now you're complaining? Make up your minds.
But it still isn't that because people just don't know what they want. I mean, let's be honest. They think they want something until it's there and gone.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't like the chest pounding. That I want this, I want that, and then like, guys, you're kind of getting it. Why are you complaining otherwise? And yeah, it's the same company, but okay, I'm trying to use analogies that we all had. It's like going into a new classroom at the beginning of the school year, but shit from the previous class is still in there. You're going to clean that desk, right? You're going to take out everything that's in it, in the closet, in your cubby hole, whatever. That's what we're doing. That's what Zaslav is doing. He's cleaning out his workplace. He
Well, I
sees
think
all
he
the
showed
stuff and
up.
tossing it. Yeah.
I think he showed up in the chat to tell us what he's up to. He says the whole chat is expensive. Cut it out. Shut it down.
Yeah.
I'm
So,
what was that?
yeah, David Zaslav's in the chat, man.
Yeah.
What? Where?
Yeah.
I'm not seeing it.
Third down from the
This is
bottom
David
from our
Zaslav,
screen.
third from the bottom. This whole chat is too expensive.
Oh.
Shut it down.
Yeah. We don't get paid anything, but okay. Yeah.
Shut down the whole chat, huh, David?
Shut down the whole chat.
Is that what we're doing?
It's the mighty X of Zaslav.
The chat's gone, folks.
David Zaslav.
The chat is gone. Yeah. No.
And more the bots.
By the way, William's phone overheated. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what
That's why
happens. That's what happens with those little, those little
flip
phones. Those little flip phones that are just for the old people that just dial emergency numbers and store 8 numbers in them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. We gotta get a better tech.
Oh, I'm such better on the microphone than him. Even if we got in a fight and he beat me, I still beat him on the mic. In his public opinion.
We apparently have Moon Knight in the chat too. Jake Lockley, something about shut me down, Thade. This guy has been yammering on. I don't even know who he is, but he keeps thinking that you and I both know who he is, Enosh.
Well, he was telling other people that we know who he is. I don't know who he is. I don't know if you want me to guess, but I don't. Nope. Observer here says Zaslav and WBD brought back execs who were pushed out by the former regime: Alan Horn, DeLuca, Abdi. It's clear they are trying to bring back a golden age at Warner. To do that requires sacrifices. And you know what? That is an amazing comment right there to pretty much wrap this up. Look, we're in a different world right now. RJ said up there just a minute ago that, this wasn't how things usually go. I get that. But a lot of us saw the writing on the wall. But these are times where different things had to be done for it to move forward, because none of this stuff was going to fly, right? And it felt like they were putting television quality, not even television quality, into these feature films. Right. And it was almost like, to use a better analogy, it was almost like they acted like they were sniffing their own farts. Oh, yes. Look how good our movie is that we were going to put on a streaming service, but now it's so good we're going to put it on the big screen. And then it's gone. So don't believe your own hype sometimes. Or, when you know that you're creating hype, maybe don't lead with that with the rest of the world, because it's very embarrassing. I've said it many, many times that over the last little while that it's become embarrassing to be a fan of this company and its projects and its people and its leaders and its all these different things. It's become very embarrassing because of the mishandling of finances, the mishandling of people, most importantly. I mean, look at all the people who've been hurt and put through BS, man, between good directors being treated like crap, between actors being treated like crap by directors and producers and executives, and and the list goes on and on. But there's a lot of it. And I'm glad that looks like is being turned around. Now people can not like Zaslav. People can people can try to turn it around and say, well, Zaslav doesn't know what he's doing because he doesn't know movies, or he doesn't know, that kind of television or whatever. Here's the point. Zaslav's a businessman. You don't need your head of your business to necessarily be the creative person. That's not what you need. But what you need is a business person who understands what's going on, who understands the business of this, and also can look at the future and say, hey, these are the trends. This is what's happening. This is what is accepted and not accepted. Why are we trying to push something that people really don't want? And I commend him. I commend him for it. I think that I think it's good. And Stella, I agree with you. Like, I've been calling for change for a long time, and as much as I'm, as my heart goes out for the people who worked on these films, part of them, The other side of me is, yes, I am still rejoicing today because it means that there is change. And I believe that there's needed to be change for DC for quite a while. And I'm glad that that's where we're at, is that there is some change, and it's not just coming, but it's actually here, and it's happening right now. And hopefully what replaces it with people like Alan Horn and whoever they get to be, you know, the head of, you know, this DC film thing, hopefully that will make the difference going forward, so that we get strong versions of these characters, even if it's not returning the Snyderverse or whatever this is, that at least even if they reboot the whole thing, that maybe they'll put some real good thought and effort into it and really try to put something out there that is there. And honestly, dude, I don't care about, look, a lot of these people, the creatives, honestly, that would be upset about this, RJ, in my opinion, and I've said this to you before when you were on here, the creatives that I feel would be upset about something like this, oh my God, they just canceled a movie. They're little children, and they don't know how this works. So we just had somebody in here earlier just talk about, look, I'm a filmmaker. This happens all the time. Your film that you made doesn't always get to be put out on the big screen. Okay? The project that you do doesn't always get, put out there. How many people go to work every day and they work on projects and they work on things, and then when it comes time to present that thing or whatever, it gets shut down? I shared with you, I've worked on so many projects.
I said earlier.
So many
it's like I
projects
said
over the years,
earlier.
man, that never saw the light of day. That I put a lot of hard work. You guys don't even know. I put so much work into this one project that my buddy brought me into. My buddy brought me into this voiceover thing where I did voiceover work for this thing for a long, long time. It was like a instructional video kind of thing, like for a large corporation. Okay. Where they were talking about, it was regarding sales and all these different things, and I did voiceover work for it. I sang songs for this thing. I voiced characters, because what they were doing was they were mixing live action with like puppets at some point. Like, it was this huge undertaking, and I put all this work into it, sang these songs, like a lot of back and forth, hours of my life, and the whole thing got nixed. And I was like, that sucks. That was going to look really good on my resume to be like, hey, I was part of this for this corporation. And it happens. It sucks, man.
But again, it's not about feelings. It's about money.
Exactly.
In the end, it's about making money.
Exactly. And if those creatives, look, if Warner Brothers calls, they're still going to be there. If they're worth half their weight in salt, they will be there, because they understand that this is professional. Everybody likes to say it all the time, but then we don't like it when it hurts. It's not show friends.
It's show business.
Uh-huh.
CJ H here, thank you, buddy, with a $5 super chat, says CWDC should get rebooted with Superman and Lois crossover crisis events being the movies, or reboot the Batman and maybe Black Adam. Superman and Lois is not the template, though, bro. Superman and Lois is not the template.
No.
Even
they're in jeopardy.
Yeah, that's not the template. And the Batman is fine in his own little universe, but that's not going to be the template for the future. And Black Adam, I'm sorry, but as much as I'm looking forward to Black Adam and like seeing what it is,
Yeah.
and I'm really interested actually beyond Black Adam when it actually gets into the Shazam stuff, right?
Exactly.
That is what I'm interested in. I get it, you got to introduce him, whatever. But my hope is that Dwayne can get his head out of his own butt for like 5 minutes and stop trying to make it all about him and talking about like what was the comment the other day that the Black Adam DC universe has begun. Like, no, and no. You're not going to base your DC universe around Black Adam, because half the people in the world don't even know who Black Adam is.
Exactly.
Let alone put him relate him to DC. So you already have an upward battle to make this movie. You think that's going to be your thing? No. Look, I hope it's a great movie, and I'm going to go see it, and I want to see it. And I've said all along, if Dwayne the Rock Johnson was meant to play one character, it's probably Black Adam. He looks the part. He acts the part. And I think it's going to be good. Now, the problem is I saw that first trailer. And I saw the second trailer. And it looks like he's just playing The Rock again.
Mm-hmm.
And while I say that he was born to play it, like, you can play too much to that character of The Rock, right? Yeah. And so that's my concern for it. But again, change has to come. It has to come. Definitely. Because nobody is happy. Nobody is happy right now with Warner Brothers. And except for my friend, I'll say this, except for Crazy Joe. Crazy Joe is absolutely head over heels excited about DC. He thinks DC's on a roll. He thinks DC has been great for the last few years. He loves every DC movie that's come out, except for the Snyder stuff. He thinks it's all brilliant. He thinks it's all the stuff. God bless him.
Yes.
Yep. God bless him, because none of that is going to strongly. It hasn't strongly showed up at the box office.
Yeah.
And it hasn't strongly showed up in the public opinion of what people. I told him, I said, dude, you may have that opinion. That's fine. You could like what you like, but like to think that they're going to make, look, I liked Birds of Prey. Okay, I liked it, right? But you're not going to base the future of all DC stuff off of that style of thing, right? Mm-hmm. I can even admit that, right? I can like a movie. I just pulled out, Howard the Duck earlier. I can like a movie. Like, just because a movie's not brilliant to me doesn't mean that it sucks completely and whatnot. But still yet, it's got to be something that...
Well, also, what we feel about the writing on something is subjective to our own perception, okay? A lot of people can run around and go, the writing on that movie sucks, the writing on that movie sucks, the writing on that movie sucks, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's what each one of us thinks as a person. Again, it's all subjective to what you think. So whether something is bad writing or not is subjective. And I had an argument with that with some idiots all last week, and they wanted to tell me, no, it's we can call out bad writing. It's a thing. No, you're calling out your perception of bad writing.
They don't know what bad writing is, dude.
Mm-hmm. And again, the old regime was making bad decisions knowing that they weren't going to be there probably. And again, same people that wanted their year-end bonus that messed up Justice League. And RJ, just so you know, I mean, we might get, Christopher Nolan back. That old regime pissed him off. I mean, the caliber of a director like Christopher Nolan, maybe Zach will come back and do other things, not just anything DC related. There's a whole plethora of creators that old regime ticked off. Yeah. So it's a harsh writing of the ship. It's a hard to starboard, and we're going a total 180 probably of what that old regime wanted to do. But again, since they were still in charge, they greenlit all this crap. But the thing is,
that's on them, yeah.
Yeah, it's on them, and it's still crap. Especially when you get someone like Zaslav in there going, "What the heck?" And then he's getting people like Alan Horn, even that alleged little chat he had with Kevin Feige. Come on, guys, it's embarrassing. I mean, just think about when you got bad advice from someone and you're like, "Oh yeah, it is bad, isn't it?" That's all it is. And yeah, it's a little more amplified because, it's entertainment. It's something we all want to see and love because we want to be entertained. And even then, it's none of our business. That's the killer of it. We don't need to know this shit. And we, voice your concerns, write your letters. There is something to what fans want and what they need to hear from us. But also, do it nicely. Don't come out like you're sitting in a high chair beating the high chair to death. Do sound like an intelligent grown person, not a little kid in an adult body going, "You didn't give this to me and I want it now. Now. That's what I hear when I hear you people complain. Especially not knowing what goes on I know we're at different stages in life. I know we're in different stages of learning, maturity, and all that stuff. But the more you complain, the more I hear that you haven't gone through life. You don't understand what's going on. I applaud the fact that you work in a job that nothing happens. But I've been in so many jobs in so many places that
that's what I'm saying,
crap
right?
happens. Yes.
Like you have good days at your job where you're like excited and you're happy and things go your way, and then you have days at your job that, let's be honest, like stuff sucks, and
you want to burn the place down, and
exactly. Exactly, right? And you're pissed off because the decisions of your bosses make no sense whatsoever, and the thing that you worked so hard on gets scrapped. And you're like, wait a second. I mean, people work on projects all the time that happens. Thanks, man. I appreciate that, because that ain't true. But yeah, I know. And look, like I said, even Crazy Joe, I love Crazy Joe, right? And I agree. Observer, I am absolutely right, 100% on here with you. Like people they don't look at what these movies actually did. They look at the names and they want to act like, well, Superman should bring in more. Well, no, it doesn't in 2022.
No.
Because Superman does not carry the same carte blanche that Superman carried 20, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, 50 years ago.
He didn't have all this competition. He didn't
and
have...
it should. Yeah. And it should. That's the problem.
Should.
That's the sad.
Yes, it should.
That's the sad point.
But isn't it the fact that I don't know, we've seen them just kind of Twitter away Superman's popularity.
I mean, just
9 years. 9 years. And again, I return to what I said earlier. Without the Trinity, you have nothing. Because Superman was the flagship character that started DC Comics. And Superman has always carried DC Comics.
Mm-hmm.
Always.
And to not pay attention
and when
to
you
that...
fritter away Superman, you fail.
Yeah.
Plain and simple.
And my only take on it is it's because Toby Emmerich was jealous of Zack Snyder and probably even Henry Cavill to a degree. The good thing is everyone in WB loves Henry Cavill. So that's the thing, until you hear from Henry himself and Danny Garcia, his manager. He is the reigning Superman until further notice. Stop with the, he wants too much money. That's bullshit. Okay? Stop it. Stop it now. I had the same conversations with all the Henry Cavill girly fans that just love him to death that are older than me. I'm 57, by the way. To hear people older than me treat Henry Cavill like they're back in junior high school, looking at the first guy they've ever seen that's good looking, is disturbing. Okay? I am not getting paid, but I consider myself a Henry Cavill shill. I will sell this man's talents and all the projects he's doing, because I think he's a good damn human being on top of being an actor. And yeah, he's a damn gorgeous looking man. Okay? But
there you go.
He is Superman. He will be there. He wants to be there. And for my legal crap thing, again, I will reiterate, he probably has stipulations in his contract with The Witcher, Argyle, Highlander. He is making room for Superman. He can put that in his contract. I would bet money if I ever hear him, with a cease and desist letter and a restraining order for me, that I am right on that. Okay? So no more talk about, these guys give too much money. No. WB doesn't know what to do with him. Zaslav probably sees this, and knows Henry is loved now. Okay? He's there. The whole thing is he's trying to figure out what to do with DC. Give him time. It's only been 3 damn months, folks. But again, these heads are finally rolling, which is actually what you guys wanted. But now, oh no, it's happening. Oh, what's going on? Make up your mind. Stop being schizophrenic and bipolar about this whole damn thing. If it's that bad, I'll find you some lithium, okay? Calm
At least
down.
be consistent. That's all I'm asking for. A little consistency would be great. A little consistency would be great.
Yeah, and Grace Randolph probably does need lithium. But anyway, Give it time, folks.
I'm
Give it time.
looking at an article here from Variety. Why Warner Brothers killed Batgirl. So I was gonna watch. I was interested in hearing what Grace Randolph had to say, but there's so I don't know if we should do this. If I should read this and then do this as another video later tonight.
Separate.
Do that as
another one.
Do that later. Yeah, do that later.
Why they killed it? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, remember what I've been hearing. Grace is just a little bent out of shape because all her contacts are getting fired from WB. Another reason why we should not pay heed to her.
Oh, and you mean do the Grace Randolph at another time?
Yeah, do Grace at another time.
Should I read this new article?
Yeah, read the Variety article. Don't read Grace Randolph right now. We're getting a whole lot of read the Variety article. They don't want Grace. They don't want Grace.
Why Warner Brothers killed Batgirl inside? My worry is that this right here is like there's only 3 of us now, and we still have 150 people, which is awesome. And I have a feeling like at 2 hours and 30 minutes into the stream, this may light off a whole other.
Well, again,
like, you know what I mean? Like, it's gonna we're gonna be here 5 hours from now. But okay, let's read this, and we might come back to it. We might come back to it in another video later because this is later in the program. But here we go.
Yeah.
The death of Batgirl on Tuesdays. The death of Batgirl on Tuesday sent immediate shockwaves through Hollywood. The film, with a $75 million budget that grew to $90 million due to COVID-related outages, has finished shooting months ago and was in test screenings as the directors worked through the post-production process. Star Leslie Grace in The Heights had given multiple interviews expressing her enthusiasm for landing the title role and working with co-stars, blah, 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 blah. Yes, okay. We already talked about that. In other words, the movie was nearly finished and already building awareness among fans. Why would Warner Brothers Discovery throw all that away? According to sources with knowledge on the situation, the most likely reason, taxes.
That's what I was saying. Hey!
That's what we're saying.
Yeah. Let's read it. Several sources note that Batgirl was made under a different regime at Warner Brothers, headed by Jason Kilar and Ann Sarnoff, that was singularly focused on building its streaming service, HBO Max. That effort included Kilar's infamous decision to release the studio's entire 2021 theatrical slate simultaneously on the streamer, which helped build a subscriber base but also jeopardized the studio's reputation with top-tier talent, though many agents and stars privately came to appreciate the move when the company paid generous bonuses as a make nice. Even before David Zaslav took the reins of the newly formed Warner Brothers Discovery as CEO this spring, the exec went on a well-publicized listening tour designed to repair the company's relationship with the creative community. As part of that effort, Zaslav has made no secret of reversing Kilar's strategy and committing to releasing first-run feature films in theaters before putting them on HBO Max. Batgirl found itself on the bad end of that decision. Apparently neither big enough to feel worthy of a major theatrical release nor small enough to make economic sense in an increasingly cutthroat streaming landscape. Spending the money to expand the scope of Batgirl for theaters, plus the $30 million to $50 million needed to market it domestically and the tens of millions more needed for a global rollout, could have nearly doubled spending on the film. And insiders say that was a non-starter at a company newly focused on belt tightening and the bottom line. Spokespeople for Warner Brothers and Warner Brothers Discovery declined to comment for this story. Releasing the movie on HBO Max would seem to be most obvious solution. Instead, the company has shelved Batgirl along with the Scoob sequel, and several sources say it will almost certainly take a tax write-down on both films, seen internally as the most financially sound way to recoup the cost, at least on an accountant's ledger. It could justify that by chalking it up to a post-merger change of strategy. Doing so, however, would mean that Warner Brothers cannot monetize either movie. No HBO Max debut, no sale to another studio. What the decision will cost the studio in creative capital, meanwhile, remains to be seen.
And exactly what I was saying earlier. Taxes.
Taxes, man.
Tax
You'd
write-off,
be
man.
surprised what the creative accountants at a major studio does. One of the running jokes my friends from Paramount said, Forrest Gump has not made money since its release. Forrest Gump, Paramount Pictures says never made money, and you know that it did.
Well, they say Batman 89 never made money.
Yeah, that's what I mean. somehow they're creative accountants. Put it in the loss column.
I wasn't wrong.
No.
Just saying.
So you mean, Thade, what you're saying really, Thade, is like what we said 2 hours ago. That people were like, oh, I don't know about all that, and they should have just released it. They should have.
When I first heard this today, I'm thinking, tax write-off. Big time. That's what they do. Oh, ouch.
Oh my god, dude, that party was so... Oh, I almost just kicked that rock. I'm not gonna fall.
He was gonna make it. He was gonna make it.
He was almost there.
I've got
It's
one more
just a
thing to
couple
say,
more
and it'll only
inches.
take me a second.
Just
I've
that
got
away,
two
you know?
words that I want you all to remember. They're
He
very
was gonna
important.
go over
If I
there.
leave you with anything,
Didn't work.
I'm going to leave you with these two words. And those two words are, I'm Batman.
Yes, he is Batman. We love him and always will. Maybe we'll see him in something. Maybe we won't.
I'm Batman.
Other streams right now talking about this.
DD Mega Doo-Doo. I'm sorry. Magoo.
12th. And who's your favorite Marvel Comics hero? Mine is Superman. Remember the motto? With great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Just saying, folks. Not telling you who to listen to. Just telling you, maybe take a
consistency would help.
Is what it is.
Yep.
$1 million.
It is what it is. Well, hey, I think that's a good way to end the show, though. I want to thank everybody for being here. Great panel tonight. Man, we went well over 200 people here in the chat watching at the same time. That's awesome. Is there a member chat? Hold on a second. Is there another member chat? Did I miss a member chat? Let me see if I can pull it up.
You haven't had one in a while.
Oh, yep, there it is. Yeah, it's Kinky Sphincter.
Bring it.
Yep, hold on a second. Let me pull up Kinky's Kinky's chat here. Thank you, man. He's been a member for 19 months, dude. You're awesome, bro. 19 months, man.
Woohoo, Kinky.
Yes. Says, it's happening, Enosh. I'll tell you what, bro. I tell you what, man, there's a lot of people who go on and on about why it can't happen, why, whatever, and, who knows. But I will say this. We're a whole lot closer than we were yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
The CJH had a member chat, too. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, I read his.
Okay.
CJH, I read yours because it said it was a member thingy. Remember? Like I read that. Where is it?
It was a member thingy, remember?
Because there was this one, and then you had it won't go back up farther enough, but yeah, you just said I have a member chat thingy or something like that.
Yeah.
So I had that up on the screen, bro.
Yeah, the member chat, member.
I remember. I remember. But hey, thank you guys, man. Like well over 100 likes on this video. That's fantastic. You guys are awesome. Thanks for showing up. Hold on. Check Ray Fisher's tweet.
We could do that.
Let's check Ray Fisher's tweet.
No.
Okay, let's see what Ray Fisher.
Do share with the rest of the class, Enoch.
Yeah.
Can you share?
Well, yeah, we can share. I mean, it's on Twitter,
really
so
cool, by the way.
I mean, it's on Twitter, but so everybody can see it.
Yeah, bring it up. We love you, Ray.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. It was. Oh.
Oh, they've got Hamada and Pennywise makeup. Jeez.
Oh, nice.
Ouch. I don't know. Is that like an insult to Pennywise? Dear Lord.
No, Stephen King might get on his case. I don't know.
The Batgirl is dead. Bury it.
Oh my.
Oh.
Man.
Oh, dear.
Yeah. Gosh, heck yeah. That makes me want to watch Zack Snyder's Justice League again. Remember when DC was good for like 4 hours in a movie 2 years ago?
It's great. It was great until they dick teased me with it. Like
right. Wait, you're getting dick teased? What?
With the Snyder movie, man. No,
I love that his pinned tweet though is still. Do y'all remember that time Walter Hamada at WB Pictures tried to destroy a black man's credibility and publicly delegitimize? I can get it. Delegitimize a very serious investigation with lies in the press. But hey, Black Superman. I love Ray, man. I love Ray. Ray's awesome. Ray's a fantastic guy. Ray's a fantastic guy. And congratulations again to Ray.
Apparently Grace is saying that Zaslav's not a fan of Zack or the Snyderverse, doesn't want to touch it.
Sure, okay.
Sure, Grace. Sure.
Keep it up, Grace.
Sure,
hon.
and
subscribe to her. Ooh.
Grace has lost her mind
lately.
lately.
She's the same person who told everybody that keep up the good work. They're hearing you.
Yeah, she also has an unhealthy obsession with Jessica Chastain. So.
Yep. All right.
Sounds like somebody else in Brie Larson.
Hey, thanks to everybody who's here. Look, if you see that we pop up again, why don't you stop back by again some other time and once again take a journey with us into some of this craziness that we call entertainment news. So, all right. Hey, thanks guys for being here. Until next time, listen, don't let anybody tell you that your fandom doesn't matter. Even if you like Batgirl, even if you wanted the Batgirl movie, that's fine. But things happen, right? And things change. And so we just have to be willing to adjust to change and adjust to the things that happen. And, hopefully we come out better for it. I really do. I hope that we come out better for this and that we have a stronger DC, universe, whatever that may be. I hope that it's good. I hope it's something that more fans can get behind. And I hope that toxic fans on both sides of this issue stay home.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody doesn't need to know your opinion. Okay. Yeah. If you hate the Snyderverse, we don't need you coming out and being like, the Snyderverse is dead. And if you love the Snyderverse, but you're a dick, you don't have to tell the rest of the world about how everything that they love sucks because you like Zack Snyder. I love Zack Snyder. I love his takes on stuff too. But you know what? I've learned to not be a jerk about it. It's not hard. It really isn't.
Yeah.
So whatever we get, I'm looking forward to seeing what comes next, because after this, folks, anything
can happen.
Seems to be able to happen and be possible. So, all right, guys, until next time, don't let anybody tell you that your fandom doesn't matter, but seek to have good conversations with people like we do here at the Poindexter Lounge. And if you do that, there'll always be a place for you here at the Poindexter Lounge. Until next time, stay nerdy. And probably don't go trying to be an exec at Warner Brothers.
Yeah, not a safe place to be.
Not really. Next time. Bye-bye.